Hello. Oh boy. Uh, what is up, everyone? It is time for. Oh, let me also plug this in Discord. But it is time for one of my favorite streams of the year. It is time for the 2024. Uh, Sorry about that. Live stream. Live stream. No, the 2024 New Year prediction stream, featuring all, all, all your favorite things. I did not have an intro prepared, as you can tell, despite being late. So Gondola, you're a newcomer here. Let me explain to you how this works. This stream is divided up into three sections. The first part, where we take a look at how I did with last year's predictions. The second part, where I go, which I like to call the intermission award show, just, talking about and going over things I liked and played in 2024 and highlighting specific things. And then finally, the third section, which is your predictions for this year.
Okay.
Let me just plug in my Discord. Also, could you retweet the stream?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I see no reason to delay any further. Let's just jump right in. So we're gonna start as we did both previous times with Sony. Now, we'll talk more about how Sony's year in 2023 was this year. Suffice to say, outside of Spider-Man 2, kind of dog shit from Sony. Lid, Eli, you're here as well, right?
I'm here. What else did they even have? I guess PSVR, but
I am actually.
I'm sure there were good games that released on the PlayStation 5, but not necessarily
I'll
Sony.
say this: I am optimistic for the future of Sony long term. Now that Jim Ryan's gone, we'll talk about that. Short term, I have no faith, but we'll get to that when we get
And
to that.
it still says 2022.
Oh, well, fuck it. Oh wait, okay. Who cares? You know what? Actually,
now I want to check the VOD for last year. See if it said 22 then too.
God damn it. Okay, hold on. We're just fuck it.
Looking forward to 2007, guys. Anyone hear about the PS3?
2006, year of the gamer.
Well, I kind of want to know about the PS3.
Fuck it.
I want to know if it's gonna have.
We're just you know what? I don't give a shit. Okay, so hi Dawn. First prediction. Spider-Man 2 will end on a cliffhanger, teasing a standalone Venom game similar in scale and structure to the Miles game. Lit. And then I'm supposed to let you read these, but I rushed through. The answer, kinda. The fate of the symbiote is ambiguous, and a Venom game has leaked, but they have not announced it yet. Unfortunately, the people who played Spider-Man 2 are not on this stream, so alright. Lid, would you like to read the next one?
I can manage that. The Wolverine game will be revealed to take place after he joins the X-Men, but we'll have him doing off-the-books work for S.H.I.E.L.D.
According to leaks and rumors, it's before he joins the X-Men. This is technically not wrong, because Sony has not but like, we've all seen the Insomniac leaks. We know that shit's real. Eli, read this one.
A full standalone Astrobot game will be announced summer 2023 and released in September.
I fucking wish.
We don't know what Team Asobi's doing. I have a feeling it's PSVR 2 Astrobot, but I don't know for certain. I did not make that one of the predictions for this year. Dawn.
So, Ghost of Tsushima 2 will also be revealed over the summer with a vague 2024 at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything. We know Sucker Punch is working on it. It's like weird that we have not seen anything from this game because like, well, Sony's marketing has been bad for the past 2 years. I can just comfortably say that, right? Like it's been
Sure.
fucking dog shit.
Sony has done everything in their power to make me not want a PS5.
Which is
despite
crazy because it
being
seems like a
very
great
impressive.
console in spite of
Yeah.
Sony.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully, without Jim Ryan, it'll be different. But we'll go into your Sony predictions when that happens.
Yeah, that'll be in a few hours,
Yeah.
or at least an hour. Now it's time for Microsoft, who had, I think, a slightly worse year than Sony. Their only, I think, well-received game they shipped this year was Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
They also got
They
a
had
lot.
a pyrrhic victory of making a purchase that cost them way too much money.
Oh yeah, no, and they will never make back.
Never.
Chad, if you have any thoughts on predictions on this, feel free to chime in. Gondola, how about you read the first one?
Okay. The rumored spring Xbox showcase is actually real.
I'm gonna dunk on myself. This was kind of me looking for freebies, and it wasn't a great prediction, but yeah, it was real. Dawn, you read this one.
So, Gears of War 6 will be teased with a new Gears collection coming out for the Xbox and PC. That allows for Gears 2 and 3 to be playable
On
So, I
PC,
think
because they are not on PC. You can play them on Xbox, obviously, but it is funny that the two most well-received games in the series are just not on PC. One of the big glaring holes in Microsoft's PC catalog.
Yeah, but we're thinking like an MCC.
Yeah,
Like
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Gears might just be dead because the Initiative, I believe, is like Gears of War's equivalent of 343, and they got shipped over to Perfect Dark, and then they got replaced by Crystal Dynamics. So
That's not the Initiative. That's the Coalition.
Oh, my apologies. You're right. The Coalition was made. I guess we don't know what the Initiative, but like I'm worried about the future of Gears of War because 5 haven't seen a follow-up. Was kind of mixed reviews. I don't know. Microsoft might be some of their classic Xbox IPs. I'd be worried about the future of. Gondola, read this one.
343 will make a big show of how they're actually bringing back the ability to play the campaign co-op mode for Halo Infinite.
No. So the reason why I made this prediction last year, if you'll remember, via a glitch, people were able to play co-op Halo Infinite campaign online. They were able to do that. So I was like, well, they'll take that, the work has already been done. They'll put it back in and get a free win. No, I mean, they did get, I think, a decently big multiplayer update, but I only heard about that for like 1 week. Halo Infinite, I think almost all year, Halo Infinite had a lower player count on Steam than the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, the TLDR on that is that like the last 2 seasons have shaped up a little bit, and that also comes from like 343 effectively firing a lot of their old team.
Again.
It's not exactly good. It's just
Lid, you read this one.
Avowed will get a gameplay trailer, but there will be no new information on the Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, this one was correct, and Outer World and Avowed is maybe 2024. We'll find out if it is later, but I don't know. I think Avowed looks pretty good for what it is. I was pleasantly surprised at how like competent the Obsidian Skyrim looked. I don't know. All right. What's next? Eli, I guess you haven't read one in a while. You read this one.
Minecraft Legends will feature an Ender Dragon rematch as the first final boss.
Like, I was assuming it would get, like, a waves of expansion. No, they made a giant pig kaiju that you fight from the nether. It's the Great Hog. Aha. Dawn, you read this one.
Redfall will be getting a second delay, but still set to come out by the end of 2023.
Boy, I fucking wish that happened, because, man, Redfall fucking... They set that game out to die. It was sad. I feel... Man, Arcane Leon, or not Arcane Austin, because the two Arcanes are completely different. Arcane Austin is the studio that made that. I think they partially worked on Dishonored 1 and definitely made Prey 2017. They're fucked. Like, I think 70% of their workforce is just gone. And who knows how much has happened in the past, like, 6 months. Gondola, read this one.
A Starfield trailer will feature a green forested wood world to make it seem like it's not all just Rocky Mountain moons from the Rocky Mountains from the first trailer.
There was a more green planet in that hour and a half of Starfield gameplay they dumped at the end of E3. But, yeah, no, a lot of that game is just barren, empty fucking moon worlds. It's so crazy that they fucked up. They made a game where you can't walk, where you can't just travel from one end of the map to the other easily. They broke the spell.
Yeah, and I don't want to like go into this too much, but I was talking to a friend who played the revisions of Cyberpunk that made that finally an acceptable game. I asked, "Oh, do you think the same thing could be done with Starfield?" And she just definitively said no.
The funniest fucking thing about Starfield was like when the modders were like, actually, I don't want to fix this game. Fuck Starfield.
Exactly.
That's I think that's... Oh, no, we got more. Lid, you read this one.
The Quake 2 remaster by Night Dive will be the big new announcement from QuakeCon 2013.
Hey, that was a you error, not a me one. Quake 2's on all modern platforms. I'm glad. I'm glad. I have played a little bit of the Quake 2 remaster. It's very good for what it is. I think Quake 2 is neat from what I played of it, but like, I think the mechanical floor is better than Quake 1, but Quake 1 has a lot more style and personality to it. Whereas Quake 2 is brown. So fucking brown. The brownest video game ever made.
I mean, yeah, sure. That's true.
Gondola, you read this one.
Machine Games Indiana Jones will be a first-person game with a heavy emphasis on melee combat.
We still have not seen anything from Machine Games, regardless of Indiana Jones, since 2019. I'm starting to get a little worried. I really hope we get something this year, but I'm also not super confident one way or the other. I really like Machine Games. I would say that, like, Wolfenstein The New Order is one of my favorite shooters ever made. So I hope they're able to rebound and make something good, but I don't know. I guess they did make some of the Quake 1 expansions, but that's pretty small. You could just have, like, 2 people do that. Alright. Capcom time. Eli, read this one.
Ghost and Goblins Resurrection developers' next game will be a new 2D Bionic Commando game.
We didn't get any 2D platformers from Capcom. There is we got games, but no 2D platformers. I'm a little sad about that, but it does make sense. It was like pretty quick after that, so hopefully we get a new Bionic Commando. Dawn, you want to read this one?
So, Resident Evil 4 remake will completely redo Lewis's original death.
Completely is not necessarily the word that I would use, but it was changed. Like there was like a for spoilers, mute the stream for 30 seconds. Eli, he dies right before the first Krauser fight because Krauser stabs him instead of the main villain. I forget his name.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Hey Andy, do you want to know who what the high profile Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection people did do next?
What did they do?
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I think that's an upgrade.
Yeah. Hopefully they make another 2D thing. Eli, you're the fighting game guy. Read this one.
Since Street Fighter 6 takes place in Metro City, all 3 of the original Final Fight characters will be in the game's second DLC wave. We didn't get a second DLC. They're slow rolling that shit.
Where the fuck is Mike Hagar? Why has Mike Hagar never been in a Street Fighter game? This is bullshit. I demand Mike. The people demand Mike Hagar. Eli, do you like playing as Mike Hagar in MVC3?
I don't really like MVC3,
Oh,
but
okay.
he's very funny in MVC3, I'll say that.
That's good.
He has a move where he hits you and he is ridiculously plus, to the point where he can go full screen the other way and come back and then still hit you and it will be part of the same combo. It's
Hell yeah.
very silly. But I don't like playing it.
Okay, Capcom 2. Lid, you read this one.
To tie in with the announcement of the new game, Onimusha 2 and 3 will be ported to modern platform.
I forgot the S, obviously. Onimush is still dead, but we did get a new Capcom IP set in ancient Japan, which is like, it's something. Not much, but it's something. Oh, Gondola, you read this one.
If it comes out, Monster Hunter World 2 will sell better on PC than PlayStation in Japan.
So, I want to give a little setup for this. Obviously, Monster Hunter World 2 did not... it got announced. Wilds got announced at the end of the year. Didn't come out, obviously. However, the reason why I said this was because there was, until like a couple months ago, the PS5 shortage hit Japan really, really bad. Actually leading to a significant increase in the PC gaming scene in Japan for like over the past 2 to 3 years. I'm curious what's gonna happen now that like that PS5 shortage issue is mostly gone. But I could still maybe see this happening when Wilds come out. We'll see. Lid, I think you have to read this one.
X9 will finally be announced and feature playable X0 and Axel. Come on.
Andy, did you really believe this was going to happen, or was this a wish?
It's been 5 years since fucking Mega Man 11. Where's X9, man? I know I didn't really, but I wanted it. Come on. Like, it felt like kind of half and half. Like, it was definitely a stretch, but like, I'm sad. I mean, we're gonna get Battle Network fucking 7 before we get X9.
Yeah.
That sucks. Oh well. Bamco. Lid, you read this one.
Pac-Man World 2 remaster will be revealed and launch in spring 2024.
Yeah, that was way too early. That was like obviously it's probably going to need another year at least. I do think because Pac-Man World Repack did sell pretty well for a remaster of a PS1 game. So hopefully someday, but yeah, no. Eli, I'll have you read the next one. Also, if you'd like to give your opinions on these predictions, feel free to just chime in.
I don't see it yet. Okay. A new Klonoa game will be limited to rumors for this year.
We didn't even get any rumors. We got nothing. We got
Nope.
I because I was thinking it's like, well, they do have all the assets in HD quality that they could make a real Klonoa 3.
That's true, but Klonoa is honestly a little odd tonally, and I don't know if they would actually touch it, to make a third game. I mean, they couldn't just like throw it out the window, but you know what I mean. It's just tricky.
They get Arzest. They get they Arzest presents Klonoa 3.
Giving
Sega
Yuji
needs
Naka
more
one more try.
no, he's still in jail. It's Naoto Oshima.
He's not in jail. His sentence was suspended.
Dawn, I'll have you read this one.
Okay, so we're thinking this year's Dragon Ball game will return to a 3D arena fighters.
I mean, there's no Dragon Ball game that came out this year, but we are getting a new Budokai Tenkaichi, which does objectively count. This one,
Yeah, we'll give this one to you. I think it's
Sure.
close enough.
Yeah, sure.
I'm definitely partial credit for this one. I'm very excited for Budokai 4 or Tenkaichi 4. Gondola, you like Tekken, right?
Sure.
You want to read this one?
Tekken 8 will have rollback netcode, but Harada will not acknowledge it all year.
It probably has rollback. I don't know if it's good or not. Harada was salty about it on Twitter, so I guess this is disqualified.
I'm pretty sure it does have rollback.
Yeah, okay. And Lid, I'll let you read this one.
Armored Core 6's gameplay trailer will show off the return of Nine Ball.
No. So Nine Ball is like the big reoccurring rival character over he is the Char, sorry, not Char, of Armored Core. So maybe he'll be in the DLC, but nah.
You can make him in the custom mode.
That kind of counts, but not really. All right. Squeenix time. Eli, I'll have you read this one.
Dragon Quest III HD will come to PC and Switch, but not PlayStation or Xbox.
Where is it? Where is it? Where's Dragon
I
Quest?
do not blame you for thinking that this game was going to come out this year.
Yeah.
I don't blame you at all.
You know what's
shouldn't
you know
be
what
that hard.
fucking happened this year, Eli?
What?
The fucking 40th or the 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest 3. So that would have been perfect time.
Damn.
Maybe someday when a new console is revealed someday. Who's knows? But we'll see about that.
Like, it doesn't seem like it's something that couldn't run on the Switch. It's an HD 2D remake. They have
Maybe it's like a marketing thing. I don't know.
guess.
Lid, you're the only person here who played this game, so I'll have you read this prediction.
Forspoken's Twitter highlights will be worse than High on Life's.
So this is an entirely subjective, but from what I remember from a year ago, yeah. Like, Forspoken is just like, they brought in some hacks to do Punch Up, and they wrote the worst fucking Punch Up you've heard in your life, and it's this is it for Final Fantasy 15 develop. Lid, aren't you satisfied that this is the true grand conclusion to everything involving Final Fantasy 15? A game you spent over a decade dealing with the announced, actually more if you count Versus 13.
Why'd they do that?
I don't know.
Why'd Square Enix let them do that?
I don't know. Okay. Eli, would you like to read this one?
Of course. There will be a fake out Star Wars trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4.
No Kingdom Hearts 4. No. I get it. It's still too early, obviously.
Yep.
Gondola, would you like to read this one?
The Switch version of I don't even know what game this is.
Theater Rhythm.
Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line will get exclusive Mario RPG remake.
So, Theater Rhythm was originally a 3DS game that was a rhythm game where you played over Final Fantasy music. We got a fucking Super Mario RPG remake, but this didn't happen. What the fuck? This is weird. It's crazy. Like, I was wrong, but in a way that I never could have conceived.
Interesting.
Lit, I'll have you read it. Or, Eli, I'll have you read this one.
Final Fantasy VII Part 2 will end in the City of Ancients, with Cloud taking Aerith's place.
That game's not out yet. I'm still riding on this one, though. I'm still like, yeah, no. Cloud's gonna fucking die at this game, and Aerith's gonna live.
Let's check back in a couple months.
Yeah, sure. No,
What if Sephiroth dies at the end of part 2?
Dude, that'd be crazy, too. That'd be fucking...
What if Sephiroth kills Sephiroth and it's like,
Dude,
I am a monster.
You joke, but that probably could happen given timey-wimey
Kingdom Hearts
shenanigans.
Sephiroth comes in.
Yeah, him and Kingdom Hearts Cloud are still fighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lit, I'll have you read this one.
Final Fantasy 16 will have a crashed alien spaceship dungeon full of robot enemies. Yep.
Yeah, no, this...
No, yeah.
Oh, that happened? Hell yeah!
Yeah, that's real.
Hell yeah! Because I figured it didn't matter when I put down because you'd fact checked me, but yeah, that's great. I'm glad I got, because I was looking at that trailer to that game and there's no way it's just Brown Fantasy Village for the whole
You go
game.
into one of those like not even that terribly far into the game, like you know the part, you know the part that's like, you know, clearly like a first reactor run character dies.
Yeah,
Who
the
knows
brother
which
dying
one.
in the tree. Yeah,
No, not that. Later, like maybe like depends obviously on how much stuff you're doing, but like 10 hours in, yeah,
okay.
it's like the first time that the game goes, oh, by the way, there's sci-fi here too.
That's good. That is very welcome. You can't do Final Fantasy with just fantasy. Sega. What are we doing?
Sega.
Eli, I think you're the biggest Yakuza fan here, maybe? I don't know.
Okay, Like a Dragon Ishin will not feature an English dub at launch.
It just never got a dub. It was originally going to have one, I think. Oh, no, wait, no, I'm thinking of the Spy Kiryu thing. This is the medieval, like, this is the
That-
1800s
I'm pretty sure it does
Japan.
have a dub.
Yeah. Yeah, because they got a YouTuber to be... they got a YouTuber to be Kiryu. Lid, I think I have to have you read this one.
This year's retro revival will also be Treasure's Return to Form, Gunstar Heroes 3.
What the fuck is Treasure making? They were like, we got a crazy new thing that we're bringing back. Like a year and a half ago. And then we radio fucking silence since then.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was June 2022.
Like, I'm not saying
heard from-
Gunstar Heroes was a safe prediction or an accurate one, but like, I at least expected to have an answer by now. Oh, Dawn, I want you to read this one. I want you to read this one.
Okay, I need to see this. Excuse me. Hyenas will lose most of its player base in less than a month.
I'm so happy I got this one wrong. Hyenas was canceled after its closed beta, but before launch. This shit...
Technically speaking, a negative amount of days is less than a month.
It's true.
Like,
So, for those of you who don't know, Hyenas is a game made by Creative Assemblies, the guys who made Alien Isolation and the Total War games. It is a multiplayer, like, asymmetric multiplayer shooter thing where you steal, like, Sega merch and IPs in the future. It was a live service thing. It fucking died. Sega looked and went, actually, Andy, you're correct. We're gonna lose so much money if we actually release this anyway. Just kill it. Just fucking kill hyenas. This might be one of my favorite news stories of the whole year, because it is just, oh, the live service genre is fucked.
Let's go.
I know. Oh. I forgot to cover that up, so we're just gonna... Oh, wait.
No, this slide is beautiful.
Okay. Gondola, you read this one. This one was... Yeah.
We got a new 2D Sonic.
No, at the top. At the top.
Persona 6 will launch holiday 2023 and will come to both PlayStation and PC day one worldwide. Wow,
Alright, this is maybe the dumbest thing I said in this whole fucking PowerPoint. I'll be real.
I don't know which one's funnier.
Okay. Yeah, no. Everything's going well. Everything's coming up, Andy. Lid, you can read this one.
Sonic Frontiers will feature Tails, Amy, and Knuckles as DLC campaigns on rearranged version of the base maps.
Oh, I forgot an S there. Sorry about that.
That is basically what happened.
Yeah, it's not quite what happened, but it basically is. And then
Maybe take a win, please.
Yeah. The Sonic Adventure Collection will be released spring 2024 and feature remasters of SA1 and SA2 for $40. We got Sonic Superstars instead, also for $40. No, wait, that was $60. Why was that $60? I'm so mad that they
I think
released.
it's 40 or
Hey,
less
is-
now.
Yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, it was 30 because I don't think anyone bought that shit the week Mario came out.
really said we're gonna release a new 2D Sonic game for $60 3 days before the next 2D Mario comes out.
Any reasonable person waited until at least Black Friday. when it
Yeah,
went down.
no, fucking crazy. Okay, now it's time for general predictions. Predictions not bound by any publisher, but just, predictions. Dawn, I'll have you read this one.
Okay, Skull and Bones will launch in the low 40s on Metacritic and will be forgotten immediately.
It's not out yet. It's not fucking...
Well, I'll say this. I forgot about it until now.
I have never been able to forget about Skull and Bones. They spent 10 years making a pirate spin-off to Ass Creed 4, and they can't even do it right. It's insane. People just want another pirate game, and they can't even fucking do that right. Gondola, I'll have you read this one.
Assassin's Creed Infinity will feature a Division-style present-day hub area for the different campaigns.
So you might not know. Assassin's Creed Infinity is basically, we're doing a big Destiny-like for Assassin's Creed with a bunch of, expansions that will piecemeal out. One of them is a Japan thing. I imagine that it would be like a Division-style hub world where you go in and physically interact to enter the Assassin's Creed game. It's not out yet, so maybe I'm right. I don't know. Probably not. Dawn, we'll have you read this one.
EA's new soccer series will collapse without the FIFA license.
I guess international, because, if you look at the history of American sports games, basketball, football, baseball, all fucking die without their respective players' leagues and license. FIFA fans don't care. Good for them. I guess you're better than us in some way.
No, they're not. They're soccer fans.
That's also true, yes, but,
True.
Alright. Dawn, you want to read this one?
Sure. Star Wars Jedi Survivor will feature Darth Maul as a secret unlockable boss.
It's kind of weird they didn't do that. This one feels like it should have happened, because it's like Darth Maul is alive before the events of A New Hope. You could just put him in the game and have him be a random fight, but I guess not. Maybe he'll be in the next one. Who knows? Lid, can you read this next one?
Yep. The BioWare Magic will kick in, and there will be a Dragon Age 4 trailer that shows gameplay and a release date of Q1 next year.
So I'm gonna have to explain. First off, there's a lot to this one. So first off, that BioWare magic is a phrase that I am taking from an article published about how Anthem's development internal was a disaster. Basically, BioWare's development practices are fucking hell, and games don't come together until like the last 6 months after brutal crunch. That problem only got worse after 13 or 14 when Dragon Age, I think Inquisition was the last one, came out and won Game of the Year that year at the Game Awards. So that's been really bad. So I was like, well, they'll just ship something. No, in fact, it's even worse than you might know. So you guys remember Star Wars: The Old Republic, right? The MMO they made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they shut that game down. Gave it to like developers to like upkeep and make it keep running, but like essentially no more new content, at least for several years. To bring that development team on to Dragon Age 4. Now keep in mind something very important. When Anthem was in development, Anthem, the big live service BioWare game, those developers were like, hey, we know how to make big online games. Let us help you with Anthem. And they were like, no, we're real BioWare. We're too good for you. So the fact they're doing this now, great signs. Dragon Age fans, be excited.
Andy, I believe in the 3 Bs: BioWare, Blizzard, and Bethesda.
It has aged
Wait.
magnificently.
So wait, are we referring, is BioWare magic like brutal labor exploitation? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that by sheer force of will, eventually they'll just make a game that comes together and is reviewed well and received well.
Right.
That's the That's how.
And by sheer force of will, you're talking about people working.
Look, this is how fucking internal BioWare management refers to their own company. This is not my.
That's insane.
Yeah. Blame them, not me. I'm just using their terminology.
That fucking sucks. Nobody should ever purchase a BioWare product ever.
Well, that
You know
assumes
what?
they're shipping one.
That's likely.
Yeah.
I guess that assumes they make one.
Lid, you played Alan Wake 2, right?
Did. Alan Wake 2 will give into fan demand and have a character with Sam Lake's face.
Of course.
I didn't even play it, and I knew that they did. Like
Yeah.
everyone knew that.
Great. He's a beautiful man. Love him. What's next? Eli, could you read this one?
Hollow Knight Silk Song will allow you to play through the game again as the knight for the first game after beating it.
I'm gonna kill John Riccatello. I'm gonna Suda51. You get in line. I'm killing John Riccatello first. John Riccatello is the CEO of Unity.
You're not the only one who got a prediction wrong, because Microsoft predicted.
They did. They said.
This game.
But the thing is, Microsoft was even more embarrassing because they said that before fucking Team Cherry had to change engines. Man, because I was thinking before, like right up until I was like, yeah, no, it's probably come close, and then that shit happened. Man,
Wild.
Is it confirmed that they changed engines?
Well, it's not confirmed, but like it is confirmed that like the development team of Silksong was very seriously considering it. So, like they have teased that at Twitter, referenced that possibility on Twitter.
I found an article on Team Cherry's blog from February of 2023. And it says, basically going over what they're going to do this year. And third off, we're in the process of migrating development of Hollow Knight to a new engine, Unity.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh man, I feel
Beautiful.
so.
Can't make it up.
Gondola, would you like to read this one?
Hogwarts Legacy's final boss will be a reskin of an early game boss fight.
So I was thinking real like you remember the Hogwarts Legacy discourse at the start of the year of like J.K. Rowling or like it's fine. My position was this is going to be a cheap license game. This is not a real AAA video game. People are being gaslit. It's not quite that. They do have original bosses. You know what game, Lid, I was thinking of when I made this prediction? It was going to pull some Order 1886 shit.
I mean, if the prediction was originally that it was going to be a cheapo license game, that is still true.
Yeah. Dawn, could you read this one?
Wow. Okay. Dead Island 2 will manage to get decent sales and have a higher Metacritic score than Dying Light 2.
It sold okay, but its Metacritic it did sell worse than Dying Light 2 at last I checked, which was like a month ago. And its Metacritic, I think, was like 5 points worth. So I think Dying Light 1 or Dying Light 2 had like a 75, 76. And then fucking like Dying Light and then Dead Island 2 was like a 70. So, yeah. I just thought it would be really funny because I was kind of excited for Dying Light 2, and then it came out and people were like, eh. So now I'm like, it would be real fucking funny if Dead Island 2 was better received. And no, we don't live in the real funny world. I mean, it's funny Dead Island 2 exists. I wish Cole were here to read this one. Eli, I'll have you read this one.
Okay. Batman will make a noble sacrifice in the Suicide Squad game. The credits will be dedicated to Kevin Conroy.
Oh no! So, spoiler alert for a game that hasn't come out yet. They're probably just gonna murder Kevin Conroy's Arkham Batman in this. Also, this game got delayed out of this year because it came out in the big thing. They had to finally say, yeah, this is a live service thing, and people got pissed. And then they re-revealed it, and it didn't look any better. Good luck.
I do think you could end up being right that it will have a poorly considered dedication to Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, no, that still feels likely. Lid. Or actually, Gondola. Gondola, you do this one.
Okay. Return to Moria will do Riddles in the Dark entirely as a motion comic.
For those of you who do not remember, Riddles in the Dark is the chapter of The Hobbit where Bilbo gets the ring from Gollum in that book. So there is a motion comic opening cutscene for that game, and it does have like a single frame where that happens, but that's not what I meant. So it's partial correct, but not still off. Dawn, I'll have you read this one.
Space Marine 2 is going to be delayed into like May 2024. However, Bolt Gun will release September 2023.
Bolt Gun was May, but I was correct about Space Marine 2. I remember looking at the year they showed gameplay, I'm like, no, you're not coming out this year. I don't fucking believe you. No fucking way. It's probably coming out this year. Lid, would you like to read this one?
Aliens Dark Descent will have a secret Predator boss fight in it.
No, we can't have fun things.
Yeah, I feel like the additional licensing for that would be too much for them to keep a secret.
But it is like all the same company. Like it's the same branch of Disney even. So I feel like you could maybe get away with it, but Eli, I'll have you read this one.
Crash Team Rumble will do the Activision special of not putting in microtransactions until a month after launch.
No. So the reason why I made this is that this is what happens when they did the Crash CTR remake. They put in like Fortnite-esque store in like a month after reviews came out to like affect things. But this is a MOBA, so they just did it outright. Man, it's so funny they made Crash Team Rumble. Why'd they do that? Okay. Oh. Sorry, I'm just checking, seeing how my audio is, because I think it's fine. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Dawn, would you like to read this one?
Sure. Let's go with that. So, to cover up another controversy, Activision Blizzard will reveal a character whose aesthetic is the trans flag colors, but will be revealed to not be trans at a later date.
We didn't get the funniest thing ever, but it would have been nice. We didn't get like a character this year who was blue and pink, who was light blue and pink.
I think if they were to do something like this, you know, if they had a character with those colors, they just wouldn't say anything. So that
Yeah.
they could get
Yeah.
basically they wouldn't deconfirm something like that.
Lid, I'll have you read this one.
Metal Slug Tactics will feature all of the post 3 playable characters as unlockable power-ups throughout the game.
So it's a roguelike, so I figured, you can unlock new characters as you go along through a run. Where the fuck is Metal Slug Tactics? It showed up at like a Jeff Keighley show, I think summer 2021, and we just no like sight of that game at all in what's going on? It's crazy.
You know who's playable in some of the later Metal Slug games is the Akari Warriors from.
That makes sense. That's like Metal Slug is kind of side-scrolling better Akari Warriors. Or Eli, I'll have you read this one.
Next, .emu SNK collaboration after Windjammers 2 will be a remake of Neo Turf Masters.
I can dream, can't I?
I think a PC port or like a even console port is not out of the question, but
I love Neo Turf Masters. It's
Not
one
a
of the
remake,
greatest
I don't
arcade games. It's probably my favorite arcade game ever made. It's just so simple and fun and charming. It's a great golf game. You should play Neo
you should
Turf.
stream it.
Maybe. I want to stream it with multiplayer. Lid, I'll have you read this one again.
Sunsoft's next revival that they teased at the end of their presentation will be a Chameleon Twist collection. I wish.
You know what? I'm happy we got Euphoria the Saga instead.
You know what else came out?
What?
Like already out, end of November. Trip World.
Oh,
Official.
the Game Boy that's kind of like game that's kind of like
You can
gimmick.
get that on the Switch.
That's cool.
Completely. I heard nothing about it until I saw it by chance yesterday.
Have you bought it?
No, it's $20.
Oh yeah, that's too much for a Game Boy game. Dawn, I'll have you, or Gondola, I'll have you read this one.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands will get a Duke Nukem DLC so Randy can get back at the people who keep leaking canceled Duke games.
So for context for this one's a lot. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a fucking spin-off of Borderlands where you play as a character who's voiced by Christian Salt and yells things very loudly in an annoying voice. Actually, I think she's Tara Strong doing her Harley voice, which is very bad. You can't even have this happen because Embracer is fucking collapsing. It is dying right now. It is the indigenous temple that Indiana Jones stole the golden idol from. It's just falling apart.
Let's go.
And now it's
Ashley Birch.
it's Ashley. Okay, I got my annoying. Oh wait, I have a prediction. Says Piecemeal. Eli will finally be nice to me. Not. Sorry about that, CJ.
I have no comment.
Now it's time for the Nintendo predictions.
Oh boy.
Eli, I gotta have you read this one. You're the Kirby one of the person of this. Well, I guess Lid's also being into Kirby, but I'll have you.
Okay, Kirby's Return to Dreamland will feature a new final boss in the True Arena, who will be an eldritch version of King Dedede instead of Meta Knight.
They added so many things into this game. They did not add a new final boss. I got fucked.
Andy, all right. So you were wrong, but there is a new boss.
Oh, okay. Is that at the end of the Mighty
Maglor?
Mag? Yeah.
Yeah, Maglor fights a new final boss.
Okay.
In his own separate mode.
I don't know. I want them to do. I'm sick of there's too many not Meta Knights out there and not nearly enough not DDDs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Maglor Soul is still the final boss of the True Arena, so you were wrong there, but there's a new boss. So.
okay, I figured that, but I meant like final boss. Dawn, I'll have you read this one.
Okay, let's go. Fire Emblem Engage will allow you to do an incestuous relationship for gameplay, though not by blood.
Yeah, there's a lot of dating sim elements in these games, and they can get pretty skeevy. The familial relationships are, as far as I could tell, platonic. They have done incest before, though. This is not.
Well, the woke mob got to them.
Yeah, they did. Sorry, let me turn Gondola up a little bit.
They want less VN.
I was mumbling to myself.
Okay, I've gone to let Max. Okay,
It's fine.
Lid, I'll have you read this one.
Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon will not be the origin game for the Bayonetta from Bayonetta 3.
No, it's a prequel to Bayonetta 3. So the reason why I thought this is, for those of you who do not know, how about you do some damn reading, Eli or Andy? I am reading. This is all this stream is me reading. Like, that's all it is. So anyway, Bayonetta 3 is a Bayonetta game about the multiverse. I don't know how we ended up here where Bayonetta was also like, in fact, the Bayonettas from Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3 are all different Bayonettas, and it's about, and the big multiversal villain is going around killing Bayonettas. So I was like, well, they'll do a different one for this. No, that didn't happen. Okay.
We just need to make sure that Kamiya never picks, like, that he's never allowed to write anything again.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna. Well, to be fair, I'm not gonna blame Kamiya for that because he was not super involved in Bayonetta 3, from what I understand. Lid or Gondola, I'll have you read this one.
Okay. Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games will be added to the Nintendo Switch Online. The 8-bit games will be for everyone, however, advanced games will be locked behind the expansion pass.
I fucking called this one. This one I was 100% right. Obviously, they can't have a $50 tier for being able to play fucking Alleyway for the Game Boy. Like, obviously, duh. I'm very glad I got it. Because I think Lid specifically were like, nah, they're going to all be behind Expansion Pass. I called it. Don, I'll have you read this one.
Advance Wars Reboot Camp will shadow launch on the Switch in late August, early September.
It was in a February direct and it launched in April. So I'm glad it came out this year at least, even though reception was mixed. But yeah, no, it's nice that it, yeah. Lid, I'll have you read this one.
The final cup of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's booster pack will be entirely crossover cups.
No, it was just a normal Mario Kart 8 DLC cup. It's really weird. They stopped at 96. They could have made one more cup and have an even 100. I don't know. Here's hoping Mario Kart, whatever is next, happens soon. Dawn, I'll have you read this one.
Oh, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers Deluxe will be announced in the Q1 Pokemon Presents and launch on the Nintendo Switch in June 2023.
We got a new Mystery Dungeon, but it wasn't a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and we got a new Pokemon spin-off in that thing, but it was Detective Pikachu 2. So, yeah. Better luck next time. Gondola, I'll have you read this one.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC area will be based on Morocco. Wait, why am I reading this?
I don't know, because because you haven't read one in a minute. I'm just rotating.
I don't play that fucking garbage Pokemon game. What the fuck?
Well, there wasn't really a great person to go. Anyway. No. One of them is a boat. The other one's like, I forget what the other DLC. But they didn't. I guess it makes sense. It would be too much. That would be too much like conceptual work for just how cheap the Pokemon DLCs are. But it would have been cool.
It would be too much to expect Game Freak to put in effort.
Well, okay, yes, but also like I'm gonna give them because like these DLCs are like they're like even still it's not that.
Yeah, but don't they cost like 30 each?
That is true. Well, forget their pricing, but yeah, it's fucking stupid. They are not worth what they charge for it. Unless if you do like VGC, in which case you need them. Lid, I'll have you do this one.
There will be a Metroid Prime 4 reveal trailer that has Silux in it as the ending tease.
One can dream. We did get a new Metroid Prime thing this year. It wasn't Prime 4, so much this. Striking out a lot, Andy, pretty embarrassing. Honestly, CJ, I'm skimming through. This might be the most accurate one I've had so far. It's still not great, but I feel like the batting average... Anyway, Eli, would you like to read this one?
Breath of the Wild 2 will feature many returning classic Zelda items, including the hookshot, iron boots, and the Dominion rod.
No, we didn't get any of
And
that shit.
I wish you were right.
It's so fucking weird. They made a physics-based open world sandboxy fuck around game, and they took out the grappling hook. Why'd they do that? I want to swing from shit. Especially in a game where like half the game is sky. Yeah. Lid, feel free to shoot me.
The Nintendo Switch 2 will launch November 2023.
This one I had a bad feeling. I was pulling, to be fair, I was like pulling back and forth between this and Q1 next year, which would have also been wrong, but at least the year probably would have been right. But yeah, no, this was bad vibes. I was not sure.
I mean, according to the president of Nintendo, there is no Nintendo Switch 2, so I don't even know why you made this prediction.
Is Breath of the Wild 2 an upcoming game? Lamau got the name wrong as well. I mean, no, I think we knew. I just didn't care to type out Tears of the Kingdom when I did that. Gondola, you can read this one.
Mario Odyssey 2 will be the primary launch title of the Nintendo Switch.
Hey, we got a 2D Mario game. I didn't think we were going to get that this year, so that's something. No, I was still wrong.
Andy, hold on to this one for when they announce the Switch 2, because this one could end up still being right.
We'll see. Hold on for that for a second. We might see. Anyway, that was all of last year's predictions. Not great, obviously, but I got some ones right, definitely. Now it's time for the intermission award show where we talk the second phase of this. We'll go over what it is the second. And the first I would like to talk before we go into what I played in general this year. I'd like to take a look back on what I actually streamed this year. So first up, here are the top 5 soundtracks I streamed. Eli, would you like to read this first one?
I mean, I felt like you could read your own.
Oh, I can do that. Super Mario RPG, and my favorite song is Rose Town by Yoko Shimomura. Mario RPG is a soundtrack where I just kept going, man, this is a good song when I was playing it. So that means it kind of has to be on the list. It's definitely not my favorite Mario RPG soundtrack, but it is great. And also the remake soundtrack is fucking phenomenal.
It is. I mean, it's not her first important work, which was Street Fighter 2, for which she wasn't even really credited for. Like Super Mario RPG is where she kind of defined her style.
Yes. I would also, do any of us get rewards? You get the Stinker Award, CJ, for being a stinker.
Yes, thank you, Andy.
Okay. Next up, Castlevania Rondo of Blood. The best song.
That game didn't come out this year.
I streamed it this year, though. Because do you see what it says up there? Top 5 streamed soundtracks.
I thought that meant that's the ones you listened to the most on Spotify.
No, that is not what that means. Anyway, Opus 13 rules. Rondo of Blood, great soundtrack. It's crazy how much Japanese composers game composers fucking cut loose when they were given freedom to finally do CD technology and didn't have to work on carts. Like Sonic CD, this, a lot of great stuff.
Also, Andy, shout out to you for finding out the name of the composer and not just writing Konami Sound Team.
Yes, I wanted to do that for each of these. I thought that was important. Number 3, Chrono Trigger, with the best song, Corridors of Time by Yasunori Mitsuda. Damn, Chrono Trigger had a great fucking soundtrack. It's real good.
Yes, sir.
Maybe not Square's
yeah.
best Super Nintendo soundtrack, but a real fucking good one. And
I'm actually like stumped what could be higher than Chrono Trigger on your list.
maybe FF6. FF6 has a really fucking good
No,
sound.
like on this top 5.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Well, next up.
'cause this would this is like a classic.
Oh yeah,
JRPG
no,
soundtrack.
like obviously Chrono Trigger's great. Like, you know what's better, Eli?
What?
Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure.
Okay. If you say so.
Sonic Adventure soundtrack fucking rules, and the best song in that whole game is probably Leisure Castle, the main like Twinkle Park theme by Jun Senoue. What a phenomenal Sonic soundtrack! So much variety. Jun Senoue, like, just fucking cooking. Like, one of my favorite soundtracks in the whole series, and also better than my, like, of the Sonic games I played, probably the best. Can I guess?
Let me just say something, Andy.
Yes.
On your own games you've beaten on stream rank list, Sonic
Hold on,
Adventure's
don't
number
spoil for
18.
that. We'll get there in a second. Yes. I just really like Sonic Adventure soundtrack. I don't know what to tell you. It's the one. Can I guess number 1 first? The the Tasmanian Tiger. I don't hate that game soundtrack. It's actually pretty fine, but I would not put it on a top 10 list. Anyway, number 1, drum roll please. Did you know that Undertale has a fucking amazing soundtrack? Did you know this?
Yeah.
Fucking, oh man, just fucking cooking. Shout out also to the YouTube channel that takes Undertale music and edits over rhythm-heavy mini games to set to the tracks. Those are very cute. Anyway, now time for a more general overlook of the streams. First off, the hardest game I've beaten on stream. Doom 2, the Plutonia Experiment. That game is it's a mean son of a bitch full of some of the most disgusting hit scan traps in any commercially released shooter. Some really, really annoying like enemy placement and a real test of skill. I kind of like it. I kind of like being able to just throw my head against that wall, but it is not for people who are. It is not a casual Doom fans game. Game I streamed the most. Boy, I streamed a lot of Thief 1 this year. That game was really fucking long. Part of it was because I'm bad. But,
I just remember, because I wasn't on any of those, Lid saying that that the whole game looked like the wall from Big Boo's Haunt.
It's not entirely
It's
inaccurate.
being nice.
I think that's being way too mean, but I get what Lid's coming from.
Every level in that game is like, hello, would you like to see one dirt texture on your entire screen for the next 10 minutes?
Hey, they had to make some massive fucking levels in 1998. They're the worst game that I streamed in 2023. Lid, would you like to take a guess at what it is?
Thief Gold.
Thief stole my stream time. Yeah, that's her. No, fucking Sonic Blast. Sonic Blast fucking sucks.
Yeah, Sonic Blast is fine. You got a double jump. You don't got a double jump in Thief.
Lid, how about you go finish Blue Marine Zone then?
No. No.
Sonic Blast is fucking heinous. It's one of the ugliest fucking video games ever made. I can't believe they actually released it for money. And it has maybe the worst water level in fucking video games. It has slowdowns, invisible sections where the current pushes you around, a pipe maze that you have to navigate, and a time limit on top of the air. It is miserable. Fuck Sonic Blast.
Yeah, but Sonic and Knuckles look like they would make a rubber ducky noise if you squished them. So who can really say if it's bad or not?
It is cool you can
like,
play.
You say this, and then you didn't play Pikmin 4, which has so many rubber ducks in it.
That is true.
There are so many fucking video games that came out this year.
There are. Wait till we get to the top
also
5
true.
list.
Sorry.
Streaming, and finally, my streaming resolution of 2024. It's a pretty simple one.
They're good.
I just shut up. I want to stream a game in a genre that I haven't streamed before. Seems, pretty simple, pretty doable.
Mhm.
Streaming resolution. I bet you stay at. Oh, you got jokes, huh, CJ? You got real jokes, huh?
Andy, this is like what my DMs are like all the time.
Oh no, I have another asshole in my DMs who posts bad puns constantly. I get it. Now, before we go into the lightning round segment, it's time for the top 5 most anticipated games of 2024. So I want to give a little asterisk here. I am limiting it to 2 things. 1, games that I can actually play this year. So if my PC can't handle the minimum settings, it doesn't count. If it's on the PS5, doesn't count. And I'm also only counting it to games that have given an official date for 2024, that have said at this point, yeah, we're coming out this year sometime. So, it's not the whole list of upcoming games. Yeah, you should not put Eli on blast like that, Andy. Okay. But it is, I think, a pretty selective list. So, starting out at number 5, we have Shiren the Wanderer 6, The Mystery Dungeon of Serpent Coil Island. Mystery Dungeon games are cool. Shiren is kind of the vanilla in-house Mystery Dungeon, because Chunsoft, it's like, Mystery Dungeon's kind of like Dynasty Warriors as a series, in that, like, the main development team publishes that out and makes a bunch of spin-offs based on different IPs. Shiren is Chunsoft's in-house Mystery Dungeon series. This is the first new entry in over a decade. And it looks pretty good, and I'm excited to sit down and be brutally upset for over 100 hours every couple minutes when I do every couple days when I do a new 30-minute session or whatever. Number 4. This one, I swapped this and number 5 today because of a certain news announcement that came out. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So this is the new Prince of Persia Metroidvania made by the Rayman Legends and Origins team. The big thing that got it in above Shiren on this is that it runs at 60 on the Switch allegedly, which means on PC there might be like a way to play this at 60 on the computer without having to engage with Uplay, which is, that's pretty helpful. But yeah, no, it looks like a solid Mystery Dungeon, or Metroidvania, sorry. And I feel like if you're gonna bring back Prince of Persia, doing it as a 2D platformer makes more sense than giving another chance at a 3D reboot. Are any of you guys excited for this, or either of the 2 games I've done so far?
If it gets good reviews, I could pick it up down the line, but I won't be getting it at launch.
I have a little bit of nostalgia for Prince of Persia, but I don't know.
It's at least not
I
full
don't like
price.
Prince of Persia, but I like Metroidvanias, so maybe.
I'm not planning on picking up at launch, and whether or not I pick it up later depends basically entirely on whether or not you need to sign into a Ubisoft account to play it.
Oh yeah.
Because if you do, that's a deal breaker.
That Lid,
Yeah,
that's a very fair thing. Number 3, Penny's Big Breakaway. This is the new game by the Sonic Mania developers. Shiren could be cool, said Piss Millionaire. I really like everything I've seen for this game. The one thing that kind of keeps it lower for me on this list is that, I don't know, the character designs just aren't clicking for me. Something about them just doesn't, like...
They're epic.
They seem, you know what they remind me of, Lit, a little too
They're
much?
Scrunkly.
They remind me kind of Rayman 1's character designs.
That's like the only Rayman game that looks even a little bit good.
It doesn't look bad, but it's not what I would have wanted for a Sonic Mania team developer.
Yeah, I think Rayman's cute.
Lid hates all things French, so...
Well, I can't help you with
Not
that.
all things, just most recent.
I was going to guess this higher, fuck that. But yeah, no, I
Let's
think,
start
like...
with, Jacques Louis David.
I'm sure when I play this game, I will be like, man, I'm a dumbass for only putting this at number 3. But to be fair, the next two things are games that I am pretty enthused for. So number 2 is a game that nobody else, well, I guess Lid cares about, but almost no one else in North
Yeah,
America
does it?
cares about. So Euphoria the Saga is a 91 NES game that is a slight edit of a Famicom title published by Sunsoft called Hibriki. It has really, really good soundtrack for the NES. It's probably the best Metroidvania on the console. It's got really fun character designs, good level design. It's a cute little game. It's a game that I picked up on the Virtual Console like 10 years ago, maybe more, probably more, definitely, because I would have had a Wii U by now. And it's so the fact that I'm getting a sequel and it's also in the style of like
It looks
Yoshi.
like a good feel game.
Yeah, it looks like modern
Yeah, this
Yoshi.
looks very cute.
I'm pumped. Again, now as Lid will have pointed out, it will depend on the price at launch. I feel like max of 40. Lid was floating it was 60. I hope it's not 60. I really hope it's not 60.
I feel like it's possible.
It's possible, but I don't know. I feel like it's like 20,
Wait.
30.
Speaking of good feel, I hope that gets.
Yeah, I hope that new Goemon
I
gets
hope-
fucking
yeah, I hope
comes
it
out
gets
in the
out
West.
yeah.
I hope it comes out because I think generally speaking, it's better for more games to be available to people. But I've heard mixed things.
Okay. And number 1, Lid, I think you might give me a little bit of shit for this one. I don't know. It's the Plucky Squire. I think this.
I get it. I'm not that excited, but I get it.
Does that have a release date?
2024. That counts.
Okay, I thought you meant like a specific.
No calendar date
Yeah.
yet. I don't know, like so the gimmick of the Plucky Squire, if you haven't, boo from CJ, fuck you. No, this game looks immaculate. Everything about this game looks so good. That is, I didn't say specific date. I said 2024, as it has to say that's specific enough. It said we are coming out this year, and the Plucky Squire is coming out this year, hopefully. And it looks great. And so the gimmick of this game is that you're like a team of like little childhood adventurers. You're traveling around the pages of a book, but then you can go around and explore the book in like a 3D environment, and it looks crazy good. And I think it's really charming. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Plucky. I've been like really impressed for it by like 2 years now.
Can I just say
And
something? about
hypothetically,
Yes,
if
you can.
Metroid Prime 4 had like a release date for 2024, would that be your number 1?
Depends on if it's Switch exclusive. If it depends on what system it comes out on. But if I'd probably at number 1. But it doesn't, so I can't put it on the list. What were you gonna ask, Lid?
The Plucky Squire being it's far from the only game that's like this, but I think it's really interesting. I get that like porting a game to so many SKUs is its own challenge, but I think it's really funny how many games are like announced. It's like PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, but not PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, that is funny. That we're entering this world. Because yeah, it totally could. You know what's even funnier? All of that, but no Xbox One.
Oh yeah, like stuff like Resident Evil 4, but I mean, like, it's like look at the handful like Elden Ring and stuff where they did, and it's like it's just by far the worst version.
Yeah. Now it's time for the lightning round of awards. Get ready. We're gonna start celebrating some stuff. So first off, the game that I most missed out on, the game that this year that I really wanted to play, but just I didn't. I feel bad about this. I gotta say, Lightning Strike Twice. I feel bad for not playing the System Shock remake. I really wanted to.
I honestly, this year, I forgot that shit even came out.
I've been waiting
man.
on that for years, but yeah, no, like, and it's also because it came out right in the middle of when I finished Breath of the Wild and just started Tears of the fucking Kingdom, so it's like, I don't have time for you, man. I'm sorry. I really want to, because you seem great, but it's like, man, I gotta play two 80-hour Zelda games back to back. I'm sorry.
Any game coming out in between Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16, not to mention like the new Cyan Worlds game came out at the same time, which like for like PC first person games, like you gotta weigh your options there.
CJ, I've played a lot of Thief too. I don't need to be told to play more Thief. I do need to play Thief 3 though at some point, but next up, the best soundtrack of 2023. It's fucking Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It's like there is
Really wasn't Tears of the Kingdom,
Yes,
Andy?
sir.
Really?
yeah, like there is literally nothing else I think that came out this year that can be like, yeah, no, a game with a Hideki Nakamura.
What about Alan Wake 2?
I have not heard a single thing from Alan Wake 2.
What about Pizza Tower?
Yeah, what about Pizza Tower?
Is that honorable mention, maybe?
Pizza Tower can be an honorable mention. It's really good. But like Bomb Rush is just phenomenal. Really, really good. Exactly hits what you'd want from a modern Jet Set Radio. Like biggest flop of 2024. A game you just go, let's point and laugh.
This is for the future.
Or fuck. All right. Well,
Hold up. No, I want to know Andy's soothsaying. What do you think is going to be the biggest flop of 2024?
hold on. Let me look at the
Yeah.
list real quick, and then I can give because I have a list of.
I mean, it's gonna be Suicide Squad. It's gonna be the biggest flop. of
No, I think
2024.
there's something.
No, I think that game's going to make money.
That's just. Oh, Foam Stars. Foam Stars is the biggest flop of 2024.
Ooh, that would be rough.
Yeah,
I
that
hope
could
it's not
be.
the biggest, but I don't expect it to do well.
Yeah, no,
You
that's.
know what? I hope it is the biggest.
Anyway, the biggest flop of this year is fucking Immortals of Avium. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah.
This game had like 8% of Forspoken's like player base on max player count on Steam. It is this is an expensive AAA new IP shooter from EA, and it just fucking died. It just died so hard. I think it sold like maybe doubled like. It sold like definitely under a million copies.
Wasn't its like peak player count on Steam like 1/10 of Forspoken?
I think it was way less than that, but yeah, no, it was bad. It was really bad.
I think if that game goes under $10, I'd check it out for morbid curiosity's sake.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do
Sorry.
that to myself.
Yeah, I don't got the time.
I have done far worse things to myself.
Next up, a very prestigious award, the best boss fight of 2023. This one might be a surprise, but I think I stand by it. The Gleeoks in Tears of the Kingdom are really fucking cool. They're really good.
I still haven't killed one.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say
I
that.
only killed
This is,
one, and it was.
I
it was
killed
hard.
one of each element, but I haven't killed the one with 3 different heads.
This is the year where Balteus on fucking Armored Core.
Yeah, I didn't play that shit.
I punched Baltius to death.
Yeah, I killed him.
Uh,
That shit was awesome.
The Gleeoks
Oh
are
my
like
God.
everything good about Tears of the Kingdom, though. Like they make clever use of the elemental attacks and having good inventory management. They fucking their second phase where they fly up into the sky and then you shoot all 3 of their heads and knock them down for massive damage is great. All of their attacks are very cool. They make good use of the different and it's also fun to just be playing a giant open world game, running around and be like, oh fuck, that's a giant dragon. I'm gonna run in the other direction.
Stu is here.
I would run towards the giant dragon.
No, not in this one. You're gonna get your ass kicked. Hi. You missed. I'm sorry you had to watch Captain Marvel instead of being here.
That was so bland. It was just like if you had to like eat like a really big bowl of like instant oatmeal, and it's not terrible. It's not like repulsive, but it's
Yeah.
just like, man,
Is it at least the instant oatmeal with like the apples?
No, it's
No.
like the one that's like peach flavored. It's like not
Oh
bad, but it's not
no,
great.
no, 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 no.
It's like every bite of it
it's
is just
like-
all like, I can't.
So,
taste
to-
it anymore.
My thing with the instant oatmeal is like the first couple of bites, it's like fine, but then the more you eat it, the like more disgusting it becomes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind
Yeah,
of like that.
yeah.
So, to run Stu up to catch Stu up on while he got to the stream, you missed me going over the predictions I made last year and looking over the results. But
How'd you do, Nostradamus?
I got like maybe 20, maybe like 15% of them right, which is not terrible.
Honestly, I think you got more than that. It's just that when you got them wrong, you got them real wrong.
Yeah, that's a fair
I
synopsis.
feel like making predictions, you should manage like a 50-50.
No, that's not like, because I'm also making ones
That's
that are
not your
deliberate
style.
swings to the fences, because that's no fun
Honestly-
making safe
honestly, but,
predictions.
like for the future, I think in the future you should like have like you can make graphs and shit. And
I was going to color code them and like buy like the different like completely true, partial, false.
you should. I think
delayed.
you should get more of like the stats on like.
The thing is, I
right or
finished
not.
this today, so I did not have time to do that, but I did want to do that.
Ah.
So, yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway, now we're in the intermission where I'm talking about specific things that I played and happened this year. So we'll get to the 2024 predictions. No worry. Part 2 of the lightning round. What's next? Oh, so I watched most of the gaming presentations this year, like I do every year. And so I kept track of how I felt about them, and I figured I should share at least the best and worst with you. And for starters, the best gaming presentation of 2023, undeniably for me, the June Nintendo Direct. That had Mario RPG Remake, that had Mario Wonder, that had some cool JRPGs announced. It was a pretty good Direct, all things considered.
Mario is the green guy, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I like
It was it was a really good Direct. This isn't a game. It's the day before. Why does it say 20? Yeah, okay.
Actually, I bought my nephews the Mario Remake RPG for Christmas.
Yeah, if they like Mario, that's a good thing to
They
get
do.
them.
They do like their Mario. They like the little Italian man.
Now,
Kids these days, they love Mario.
the worst presentation of 2024 or 2023 is a special kind of hell. It is, of course, the One True King Gaming Expo. Did you forget about this, Lid?
Game Awards?
I didn't forget, but like,
Oh wait,
Andy,
oh,
what
it's-
is this?
That's literally what it's called. I thought you were just saying
No,
mockingly
so-
to say the Game Awards.
No. This is real. So, One
They
True
call
King.
Jeff Keighley, the one true king of gaming.
It's I forget who's like the face of it, but it's basically like
Asmongold.
Asmongold and a bunch of other like dipshit like streamers who only stream live service games. They hosted like I think like over 2 hour, maybe 3 hour presentation this year, and it is for the record books one of the worst presentations ever fucking seen. It is terrible. So the format they would do is they would show off a game, they would bring a dev on to talk about it, and they would show themselves badly playing the game after it. The problem with this is when you do a gaming presentation, you want to fucking move through things quickly. You do not want to get stuck on fucking molasses of just fucking bullshit. Like, you do not want them to just like be stuck watching people play video games badly. And that's all this was. They asked horrible questions. They did like a 5 to 10 minute ad for their own publishing arm that they were announcing. They had no major titles. It was a fucking disaster. If you want to pick one that is like more real for me to shit on, if you're like, well, that's just done by a bunch of Twitch streamers, that's too easy of a target, I would say the PC gaming show this year was pretty boring. They didn't really have much. It was kind of bad. That's all I got. the best trailer of 2023. So I was originally going to give this, I think, to the Tears of the Kingdom final trailer, which I thought was amazing. But then Sega was like, hey, you want 5 retro reboots in one fucking trailer? And I'm like, I guess? I guess?
It's hard to beat that.
It's hard to beat fucking Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage,
Honestly-
Shinobi, and Crazy Taxi in one fucking trailer.
honestly-
I'm so excited that they're bringing back Alex Kidd.
If it had just been Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi on their own,
Yes!
I feel like that would still be best trailer of the year.
Yeah, no, but they had like 5 of them. It was crazy. And all of them look pretty good.
My dad is going to be thrilled about them bringing back Shinobi. Like, you talk to him about like video games he thinks are cool, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, Tomb Raider was pretty cool, and Shinobi on Sega Genesis."
Yeah, the new Shinobi looks good. Anyway, now for the next segment, the biggest criminals of 2023. Sega for probably violating U.S. union law. They haven't, like, the court case hasn't gone through, but I'm going to say they're criminals. They're crooks.
It's the games industry. I'm sure they did.
Yes, absolutely. 1 second.
What about the Balan Wonderworld guy? Was that last year?
You gotta have, like, the parentheses S, because sometimes it's a person being a criminal, and sometimes it's an organization. Next up. The most forgotten game of 2023. Obviously a very subjective award. There are maybe ones that could be better.
This one's a challenge because if you mention it, it will become unforgotten.
Well, that's the thing is, you gotta forget there's like a single-digit number of people watching this stream, so not really.
I feel like
Stu, would you like to retweet the stream, please, by
I
the
feel
way?
like 2023 was like
Thank you.
the worst year for this.
Yeah, no. So and there were a couple things that I floated back and forth, but I decided to settle on Minecraft Legends because I feel like none of these Minecraft spin-offs they're making they all look fine, and then none of them make any fucking traction. They just come out.
Fan games get more attention.
Yeah,
like, from
yeah.
several years ago.
I'm
You just-
pretty sure that Telltale game is delisted.
That's funny.
Oh man, wait,
They did
I
a-
forgot
they did a
about that one too.
Remake of
Shit.
Colossal Cave Adventure for modern systems.
Uh,
last year.
but my
Andy,
the
I
reason
think that's a good choice. I'm sorry, you go on.
Well, the reason why I also picked is that it showed up at a first-party publisher's gaming event, so it got as much attention as it possibly could and still flopped. But what were you going to say, Eli?
Like, I know that you said like your most like the game that you didn't get to that you wanted to play the most is System Shock Remake, but honestly, I think that could also fit in this category.
I think I saw enough other people playing it on that I would not, but I understand your argument.
What about Atomic Heart?
That's a good one. I listened to a spoiler
guess
cast
so.
on it, but yeah, no, Atomic
I
Heart.
don't know. Atomic Heart won the fucking. It won like a Steam Community Award, so I don't know.
Those are
Well, that
bullshit, though.
sucks.
Yeah,
Those are bullshit, but like you know.
yeah. That's true. People did remember it enough to vote for it. Best weapon of 2023. There were a lot of amazing weapons in video games. Some of which, like, I had to go back and forth on. But ultimately, I decided to settle on the Pizza Tower shotgun for just feeling excellent. Just
That's a pretty good one.
when you point and click and everything in front of you dies, you know you've made a phenomenal weapon. And they save it until the last 2 levels, but it's really good in both of them.
I'm gonna say the glaive from Krull.
Okay, I'll take you. I do not know what either of those things are.
You Google. You have to look at Google it. Google it.
Okay. Lid. Time for your favorite category of the year. The most scrunkly character.
Yes.
This one might be a bit controversial. I'm gonna pick the TF2 seal from. So, in the summer update for TF2,
Wrong.
what would you say, Lid?
Not that.
Would you?
Let me look up the seal.
It's very well. No, it's also the fact that one, it's a very cute looking seal from Selwyn, the map in TF2, but it's also the objective of the map is both teams have to fight to collect chum buckets that randomly spawn around to feed to the seal. You have to. It is a thing where you have to help and encourage this cute little boy, and that's why I got to put him on the list.
That's the thing, is that
What's-
the seal is too normally cute. He's too round to be scrunkly.
What is
Would you say that
scrunkly?
Ochi is scrunkly?
Lid, would you like to define skunk?
I would absolutely say that Ochi is scrunkly because he's kind of ugly. His
You know what?
eyes are big.
If you want a
And that's
different
what you
answer,
need.
I'd probably go with I forget his name, the gerbil from Pizza Tower. That's my backup.
I thought you
But
said Mochi, my cat.
no. Lid, would you like to define scrunkly for Stu?
Scrunkly, it's basically just ugly cute. That's all it really means. Just ugly cute.
Okay. All right, Lid.
Oh, like Baby Grinch.
Lid, I think you're gonna like this award. Most baffling game decision. This one fucking floored me. This one is astonishing. Why is there no music in Forza Motorsport?
Okay, but here's the thing: is that Forza Motorsport, like as a series, has basically not had music since Forza Horizon 1 came out. This is normal.
They're insane! Why would they do that? Why?
Well,
Because
because Horizon.
everyone's just listening to their own music anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's for people like me who mute in-game music most of the time.
Fuck you. You're the part of the problem.
But that's the thing: is that Horizon. Here are the two things that really get me: is that Horizon has music.
Horizon Zero music.
and the that's pretty
Horizon
fun.
Zero
That's a good one. That's a good one. The first thing is that Forza Horizon still has music and has like a not bad. I just totally annihilated my microphone. Like a not even bad selection of music, and Gran Turismo takes itself so seriously compared to Forza Motorsport, and it still has no problem with fucking Gran Turismo 5 opens with a My Chemical Romance song.
yeah,
Okay?
no.
Like that's all you need to know.
Also, who drives without
how-
listening to music or something on the radio? There is like if you're an American, there is always something other noise playing besides just general traffic when you are in a car.
Well, I'm just saying, why would you spend money licensing music when you know that your player base is going to turn it off and play their own music?
Because that's how video games work. You pay,
gotta-
you get music.
Okay, genuinely, I think the original Forza Motorsport licensed like 3 songs, and it's literally like Lagrange and Iron Man and like that kind of boomer rock. I think that is a more meaningful, interesting, creative decision than having no music.
Exactly. Next up, the best levels of 2023. I'm going to give this one to the Mario Wonder musical levels. Every single one of them was delightful. I enjoyed them so much.
Did you
Just-
go back and do the second Piranha Plant level in the Secret World?
I unfortunately did not. I'm sorry. I need to.
I actually think that's the best of those music levels, so I would go back to that.
Okay. Definitely next time I play that, because I'm pretty sure I deleted
Sure.
the Mario because I needed room on my PC, because video files, stream VODs take up a lot of fucking space. Alright. Biggest betrayal of 2023. Let me tell you something. I had hope. I had optimism. I stopped playing for a while, but I with the assumption that I would come back. Multiverse is being like, hi, we're going back into closed beta. Thank you for enjoying that. You come back next year. What the fuck? What the fuck? What are you doing? Why'd you do that? I put you on my top 5 games.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
Warner Brothers
Fortnite,
Smash.
But you can be Steven Universe.
Yeah, that's Warner Brothers Smash Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. And I stopped playing it for a couple months before this happened early this year, but it's still just like, what the fuck? Lid,
Game ever gone
would you
back
like
into
to say
beta?
this with me?
What is it?
You know what it is. You already know what it is. The S-Blade has a Half-Blood charge.
It sure does.
What is this?
The S-Blade has a Blood Charge.
No, I've heard you. What is this from?
Oh, the Hypno
Slayers
Space
X
spin-off game.
Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of the X Slayer.
Thank you for getting the whole title.
Whatever
Lynn.
you. Okay, sure.
So,
I don't care.
no, you should, because it's awesome.
All right.
So the conceit is that it's like a one episode, about 10 levels, 90s style boomer shooter, where you play as a teenager from Boise, Idaho, who is CEO of the world's most important international corporation, and also part of a secret society of elite warriors who are masters of hack blood. It's
Okay, did you play Hypnospace Outlaw?
I have not played Hypnospace Outlaw.
Okay, so in Hypnospace Outlaw, which is just like a kind of adventure game sim of moderating a forum. It's
Yeah.
really good. There's a character named Zane who's just like
Yes!
middle school kid, just a very abrasive, sort of edgy in a corny way, and named Zane. And this game is the game that he made as a kid, as like a Doom mod kind of.
Yes,
thing,
and
went back
well,
to
he
the
didn't.
adult
He didn't.
stuff.
It is revealed in a secret area in the final level that it's actually made by his best friend. Zane is in his 30s and a dad, and his best friend made him this game out of spite because he promised he would make it in high school. This game, you gotta play Slayer's Axe. It is a
It's like
delightful
Pale
experience.
Fire. It's
It is-
the-
it is-
the game you're playing is a thing made by a fictional character.
Yes,
and you
exactly.
understand that character through the thing they made.
Yes, and that character is one of the, like, it has this perfect like Mike Judge-esque like deadpan comedy. It is this Slayer's X, I would say, is genuinely the funniest fucking.
Play Hypnospace Outlaw, Andy.
Okay, I should do that because
Absolutely.
is that the game they
It's
made
not a
before?
big time commitment. You can get through most.
The
of the
villain
basics.
of this game is your stepfather, who also is the manager of the convenience store that Zane and his girlfriend work at. It's delightful.
That's pretty good.
It's really good.
'Cause I gotta say, the S blade has a hack blood charge. That's not really doing it.
So
for
let me tell you
That-
something, Eli. Do you know what the cool S is? Like when let me get you
Oh,
up.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
It is a sword that has like a stick running through that S, and physically, that's the so any. And let me also clarify what this quote means. So Hackblood is basically your shields in this. Anytime, and when you have over 90 shield, essentially, you can shoot projectiles out of the sword. Whenever you get back up to the status, which is very easy in the early levels, Zane will say that, so you will hear it easily over 100 times in your playthrough of this game. Maybe like 50 times a level you will hear, the S-Blade has a Hackblood charge. What a phenomenal game. Worst headline of 2023. This one, there were a lot of bad ones, but Unity announcing rent for developers is an all-time bad one. It is insane that they were like, yeah, no, actually we're charging you for previous versions. We're violating old contracts. Fucking insane they did this. Who knows what's going to happen with Unity going forward?
Oh yeah, they're cooked, man. They're toast. People are already fed up with them for.
Oh yeah, no,
smaller
yeah,
reasons.
and also yeah, no. The funniest delay, man. They really fucking were about to ship Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and it showed it off like a month before it came out in a state of play, and then put that game back in the oven because people were mad it was a live service game and had to deal with that. Insane they did that. Fucking beautiful. Worst first impression. Lid, you're gonna like this one. So Pseudo Regalia is a pretty cool game. It's like a Metroid 3D Metroidvania where you explore and like essentially, what if playing Mario 64, but your all of Mario's moves were power-ups that you got that allowed you to explore? It's all right. I don't like it because that they have. I dropped it because they have like a Metroid Prime styled map, but they also have Zelda keys that open a bunch of random locks throughout the door. So it feels a little too easy to get lost in this. Anyway, the first boss you fight is like a strong enemy. It's basically like an Iron Knuckle from Zelda. It's like not a good fight. It is like the camera is not great. The combat feels kind of bad. It is a really not good first impression of the game, but I do like it quite a bit.
For a second, I read that as pseudo gorilla.
No.
That'd be awesome.
Andy, when you said worst first impression, what I assumed you meant was how terrible the character design is.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I think she's pretty cool.
Biggest. Okay, so this is we're doing NFL power ranking for video game corporations. This one's kind of ironic. Biggest loser of 2023. They did get owned by Microsoft, so they technically don't exist as an independent anymore. But man, it was just nothing but bad news this year for Activision Blizzard. Like Overwatch 2, they had to reveal that, oh, actually, we're not making any single player game, and we knew that when we shipped Overwatch 2. Diablo 4, they shoved a bunch of bullshit in that game in updates after it launched and pissed a bunch of people off. WoW continued to have a big player drought. There's another one. The new Call of Duty was the most undercooked COD they have maybe ever made. Just
crazy to me that people are still playing Call of Duty games. I haven't played one since I don't know, 2011.
I mean, that's still when they were like they were still relevant, at least for a couple years. But yeah, no, it is a machine. You cannot stop COD. Good fucking riddance. Goodbye, Activision Blizzard. You're Microsoft's problem now.
Remember when Blizzard? I mean, maybe you're all too young, but I remember when Blizzard was like a standalone company. All their games are considered really polished. They were the ones that had the.
I remember I don't remember the most. I remember is early WoW. I do kind of remember early WoW.
No, I remember when Blizzard was like.
Yeah, I don't remember StarCraft or that. Yeah.
I remember.
It was Cataclysm was.
I was like 6 when that happened. So. Yeah,
I remember Diablo 2 with the Lord of Destruction expansion pack. Diablo peaked there. I don't know why they made Diablo 3 and 4. It's just no point. They perfected the formula.
So the bit
fine with Diablo 3, but I do recognize that Diablo 2 is.
Well, you're fine with Diablo 3 now. You got to remember that is a very different game that they shipped in 2011. Anyway,
I feel like Diablo 3 was a weird situation where like it was one of those games where it took long enough to come out that it was like insanely high.
That's some treasure you have there in that Horadric cube.
In terms of winners this year, I gotta say, because I haven't done this before. I think both 2 years I tried to find someone else, but like, I thought after Zelda and maybe Pikmin, they were gonna have kind of a slow fourth quarter, like not much. They made a new 2D Mario and a 3D Zelda this year. They made Pikmin 4. They had so many W's this year. It's fucking crazy. So many good games. Multiple in my top 5. Again, gotta give credit where credit is due. Yeah, they did bullshit. Yeah, no, obviously. They're an evil corporation. But in terms of like, yeah, no, crazy. Now it's time for the final list. My top 5 games of 2023. This one I shuffled around with. There are 2 honorable, there were a lot of 9s this year. Very hard to pick out. So we're going to start with number 5. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I put so much fucking time in this game. There are very few other games that came out this year that I could comfortably see myself playing for over 100 hours in a row. And granted, I do really dislike the late game portion of Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, but everything up until getting there is like really good. It feels really satisfying. That climb from like complete fucking wimpy uselessness out of 3 hearts to getting like relatively competent and good gear and stuff is great. The new dungeons are not quite where I'd like them to be, but probably the best they could be given the limitations of open world design. I love the new caves. The depths is fucking crazy. There's finally enough bosses and enemies in this game. it's a game with a lot of really, really cool things and high moments for me. It's just, I wish it was just a little tighter, a little more polished. And it, the big problem with this game is that, like, the more you play Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, the longer doing individual things takes, and that kind of burns you out, which is a shame. At least they have a good final boss this time, unlike Breath of the Wild.
I haven't. I got like 2 hours into Breath of the Wild at my sister's place, and my brother-in-law unthinkingly deleted my save file on their Switch.
Oh, that sucks.
Andy, we talked about it for 2 hours. Like I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't need to talk anymore. Number 4, Pizza Tower.
Hell yeah.
Pizza Tower is an immaculate, some of the tightest, most fun, enjoyable 2D platformer level design I have ever experienced, where you just flow through levels. Getting good scores is so satisfying. But those boss fights are dog shit. Why'd they do that? Why'd they make that?
It would be fine if you didn't have to do. If they didn't take so many hits.
Yeah, because, well, the problem is that, like, basically it is a really bad example of you have to wait until the opening every single time you're able to attack them. So you have to play defensive for the whole fight, and it feels way too long. It's, again, but all of the levels that, and again, once you beat the game, you can just replay them anytime you want. You never have to fight a boss fight again. They're all fantastic. So, yeah, no, Pizza Tower definitely.
It's fun to go for high scores.
Yeah, no, real good. This one snuck up behind me. So Eve Eternity 1.
This sounds like one of those like Korean MMOs.
Eve Eternity 1 was a 2018 Doom WOD for the celebrating the, I believe, 25th anniversary of Doom. Anyway, this out of nowhere in December shadow dropped for the 30th anniversary of Doom. And it's a sequel, a really good sequel to one of the best Doom mods ever made. It features a ton of new enemies, tons of multiple new weapons, really inventive themes. Like, one of the worlds is like Aztec themes. There's really cool like Japanese like themes like flower blossoms and like cool tech bases. It's just a really high quality map set, and like it's a sequel to, I would say, the definitive like showcase of what Doom modding can be capable of. Soundtrack's phenomenal. It's just really good, and I again wish I had a little more time. I wish it came out earlier.
I'm actually looking at the website for this, and this looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Number 2, Mario Wonder. The reason why this trumped out over Pizza Tower from a 2D platformer of the year, is because Pizza Tower, I think, has higher highs, but like, it also has way lower lows. Whereas Mario Wonder was a pretty, like, yeah, even the boss fights aren't great. None of them, I feel like, drag down the experience. They're at least short and simple enough that it's like, okay. It's just like, man, they made a bunch, they like actually tried aesthetically and mechanically to make really creative and interesting new 2D Mario game levels for the first time since at least 2006, and I really appreciate that, and it's really good. It's not quite my favorite Mario, but it's really good and satisfying.
Again, we already talked about it, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Before we go on any further, I would like to shout out the 2 honorable mentions, which are games that I gave a 9 to that just didn't make the list. The first one that I knew wasn't going to make the list was, as much as I like Slayer's X, it's kind of short, and also it's deliberately ugly, but it's still kind of hideous. I enjoyed it, but I knew it wasn't going to make my top 5. The other that almost barely got kicked off was Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. That game's really good. If you're looking for like a craving for like a late 90s, early 2000s extreme sports game, like not just Jet Set Radio, but if you're looking for something to scratch like a Tony Hawk itch, I definitely recommend it. It's just, I don't need to tell anyone in here that there was a lot of great games coming out in 2020, 2023. I think I will say, I think maybe the last last year had like a better top 3, but this has a much higher like top 5, top 10 in terms of like sheer amount of good stuff. Even if like previous years had maybe personal higher favorites, but not to drag things out any longer. Let me. Number 1 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. You got to say it like the voice, the title.
Resident Evil.
Now here's the thing. Does this need to exist? No, probably not. Would it have been better if they did like a Code Veronica or, God forbid, a Resident Evil 9 instead? Yeah, definitely. But I think Resident Evil 4 Remake makes enough changes and adds enough new things to it that I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm playing this. This is cool. I like Leon and Ashley's sort of back and forth they have better in this game. I think some of the combat, and I think the overall combat encounters are maybe a bit better in the original, but I think a lot of the level design in Resident Evil 4 Remake is a lot tighter. It's a little more connective. You get a sense of each like area making more like overall sense, and it's not quite like as like Metroidvania-y or like interconnected as like a classic survival horror Resident Evil, but it's closer than 4 is, and I appreciate that. I also like all the little like side quests and mini games they added in. There's like Stu, you of course remember shooting the blue medallions in
Oh, yeah.
They added in like a bunch of
I
those
get the
throughout the rest of the game now, and that's a really welcome change. And you can like get spinels from the merchant to trade for specific items. It's really good. Again, if you put a gun to my head, I think I'm still very slightly take the original, but it's close. And again, it's very nice to be this satisfied with the Resident Evil 4 remake. I like it a lot.
I think Leon looks really nice.
He does. Everything. The only major complaint I have is that Ada's voice actress really is kind of bad. It's like she's not good. She's really kind of phoning it in. I don't know if it's her or the direction, but like, none of her line reads sound good.
So where do you think they go from here? Because I don't know if they do a Code Veronica remake.
It would be so funny if they release a completely different game called Resident Evil 5. I mean, I think whatever happens, 9 is next. I think we're going to get a 9 before we get another remake. God, also, what if they do a 1 remake again, but this time it's behind the camera instead of fixed camera angles?
I don't know. Something feels out of step about that to me.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me... Hold on, let me check something. Because I thought I... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Well, while you solve technical difficulties, can I talk about survival horror?
Sure.
I really feel like the thing I like most in survival horror, not just because every horror game got called survival horror for a long time, just because it would have like fixed camera angles or whatever. But I feel like the thing that was most interesting about survival horror that kind of started to fade away almost as soon as it came about was the quote unquote Metroidvania like level design, that kind of semi non-linear design that confronts you with traversal problems, where depending on how you progress and where you go, you have different ways to get from point A to B, and each has their own sort of hazards, and it requires sort of like, combined with your limited inventory, you're kind of like a strategizing of like, what am I carrying with me? What am I going to use? What resources am I going to expend to like clearing this hallway out versus
Okay.
to dodge whatever's in it or whatever.
So
I feel like I'd like to see games that build and expand on that in way more elaborate ways, like really make that the center.
I think Lid would tell you to play Alan Wake 2 in that, if that's the case.
If
Um,
that's what Alan Wake 2 is actually doing, then
Seems pretty good.
Thank you, other Stu, for resubscribing. I don't know if he's here. I guess he just
You're
went.
welcome.
Oh, you are here. Oh, we got both Stews.
just got
I before we go into the 2024 predictions, I don't know what happened to it. There was a slide here for my top 5 games I beat on stream, but that's I don't know what happened for it. Anyway, I can just do it. I know off the top of my head. Number 5 is it snuck in at the end.
Number 5.
Doom 2, No Rest for the Living. It's a really good little Doom expansion. It was released in 2010, I think, by the people who make I forget the team's name, but they do the modern Doom ports. They did the XBLA release and the modern, like, the release that are on all of the platforms. It's a short, like, 9-level map set that has, like, a bunch of really good levels. And I also, if you decide to play it on PC through, like, GZ Doom or something, there is a custom soundtrack made by the Doom World community that is phenomenal and really enhances all of those levels. It's just, like, it's nice to be able to just sit down and play, like, 2 really tightly paced, fun hours of good Doom, as opposed to sitting down and playing, like, a whole 10-hour thing. Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak is the game of the year. I believe you, Piss Millionaire. The fourth best thing that I did was Resident Evil 2. That game,
Remake?
the original, I streamed.
Oh, respect.
I was really caught off guard by how much I liked Resident Evil 2 Remake. I think it is very delightful. I think, like, the only real flaw I have with it, outside of, like, getting used to tank controls, but even then, that's not really a flaw, is that, like, man, they really don't have a lot of video game left after you leave the police station. Like,
Pretty much, yeah.
you can...
I mean that's like every Resident Evil game.
Sure, but with
has that
one,
problem.
it's like... But with Resident
Except
Evil 1,
for-
it's like... Well, 4 maybe has a little too much game, but, like, with 1,
I just mean they'll fall off in the back.
Sure, but it's like, at least you keep getting, like, 1, you do the mansion, then you go do gardens, then you come back to the mansion, then you do the caves, then you do the lab. Like, there's a sense of, like, pacing to it, whereas Resident Evil 2, it's like, you do one really long area for, like, 3+ hours your first time through, and then the rest of the game you can do in, like, 2. It's crazy. But I really liked it.
It's just one area, yeah.
I did, I'm glad I streamed both Leon and Claire's campaign.
Hell yeah, dude. It's a great game.
Yeah, no. I honestly, I think I like it more than the original remake. Resident Evil 2 as, like, I might just be my favorite top. I do need to replay remake. Stu, you played Resident Evil 2 this year. Do you have anything you'd like to say about it?
Oh well, I mean, I streamed it this year, but I played it when I was a little kid.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Game. I love Resident Evil 2. I admittedly, again, a lot of that's inseparable from nostalgia. It was very formative for me. I think it's got still, like, some of the best monster designs in all of Resident Evil. Like William Birkin and all of his variants are creepy and awesome. The Licker is an all-time great monster design.
Yeah, no.
Great
Mr. X
backgrounds.
is really cool.
Yeah,
It's also that all of
shit.
the presentation stuff is just, like, such a jump from, like, Resident
From
Evil 1.
original Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's
1,
like-
it's a
like, there are, like,
huge jump.
Good line reads in that game, which is crazy. There are no good line reads in the original Resident Evil.
Something
Hey,
I
what do you
forgot
mean?
But relearned was that the voice
You know what I
of
said,
Claire in that game was Luna the clown from the Big Comfy Couch.
Yeah. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 is really cool. I'm excited to play it again someday. Next up, number 3. If I was just playing the base game, Resident Evil 2 probably would have beaten it out. But thanks to the enhancements by either the 3DS port or what I played, the Ship of Harkonian PC patch, Ocarina of Time is able to truly shine. I don't know if it quite lives up to its reputation of greatest game of all time, but it is a lot of fun. I think the thing that I appreciate most about it is that it is probably the most replayable 3D Zelda for me, and it is also the 3D Zelda that has the least amount of overworld compared to its dungeon content. Like, it is maybe the only 3D Zelda where you outright spend more time in dungeons than in the overworld, and I really like that. And all of the dungeons are at least okay. The switching back the soundtrack's great. The fact that they introduced so many different like fantasy species that maybe not the most original, but like how much they added to Zelda lore and world building was really cool. There's still a little bit of charm to some of the cutscenes and visual moments. It's just like it's really good Zelda. I like Ocarina of Time.
Good game. I
Oh,
finally
do I.
finished that last year too.
Nice.
With a friend. I played it off and on as a kid when it was new, but I never had an N64 of my own, so I never got super far.
Number 2 is a game that I am streaming again right now for the Pacifist run. Man, I'm an idiot for not playing Undertale until 2022. Undertale is fantastic. I don't need to tell you, it's extremely funny. It's got one of the greatest soundtracks I've ever heard. All of the boss fights and combat encounters are really creative. It's fucking great. It's also like nice to play an RPG that you can do in like 10 hours, probably less if you know what you're doing. Yeah. And then number 1, which is probably, I would say right now, the best game that I have streamed, period. Chrono Trigger's fucking amazing. Did you guys know that? Did you know that?
Yeah.
The one flaw I can say about it is do not play any of the added content the DS versions adds. It's all bad. But like in terms of like Chrono Trigger really feels like a game that was made by like a once in a console generation like dream team of Square and Enix talent, and you can feel it. It's a bit basic narratively, but like I think all of the way it
Super Nintendo RPG.
yeah, well, like even compared to other Square stuff, but the way it bounces back and forth between like other like all of the different like time periods and handles genre, like you've got the genre trope that's prehistoric like cavemen barbarians versus like sentient dinosaur men. An ancient Atlantean society with advanced magic and technology, corrupted by their own hubris. Dragon Crest land.
Toriyama art.
Yeah. Fucking Toriyama's fucking cooking throughout the entire game. A Dragon Crest world in a medieval setting that's really fun. Present day, which exists, and like a post-apocalyptic future setting with a bunch of like in a irradiated nuclear fallout land with a bunch of like killer robots and weird mutants is great. And also Chrono Trigger has like some of the best combat in any RPG ever made. It's delightful. I really like it.
I've been sitting on that one for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
really
that's fair.
It's really great.
All right.
I was just saying, before we move on that note of like, they're not 16-bit RPGs. They came out on the PlayStation, but they're closer to that because they're all like sprite-based. Have you ever played Suikoden or Suikoden 2?
I have heard amazing things about Suikoden 2 for years, and I have just never gotten around to it.
Suikoden 2, I think, has like a better. Cause it's a bit of a more substantial, fleshed out game. Suikoden 1, I had as a kid, underrated, really great game. It's not grind heavy. It's not too dense with random encounters, and you can get through the whole game in like 20 hours. It's not like
okay
bloated like
that's good.
Final Fantasy games are.
Yeah,
recommend.
Okay.
Apparently, the Suikoden 2 remake is finally going to come out this year. So
here's hoping.
I don't know if that's going to be the way to play it, if it's going to be definitive or not. But yeah,
it's Konami, so they'll fuck it up. They'll find a way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And do you want us to read any of these?
I guess. I mean, if you want to, I can read them. But yeah, if you want to be involved in
Whatever you think's best.
So let's start off with again Sony's predictions for 2024. What's going to happen this year? They left Jim Ryan. I think this year is going to be kind of dire. I think they're going to be scrambling for stuff this year because they have to fucking repurpose a bunch of their live service shit. Speaking of which, Lid, would you like to read this first slide? Our first prediction.
Sure thing. At least one announced live service game from Sony will be re-revealed with a heavy emphasis on single player.
They're gonna walk these back. They have like 12 live service projects in fucking development somehow. So they need to fucking do something. So it makes sense. And here's hoping it's fucking Marathon, because it's
Sorry, what sunk the boat on live service?
The fact that not enough of them just make money, and there's too much time, not enough time for people to spread them.
So there wasn't like a big specific event or back.
No, it's been built up for
It
years.
was just over the course of a few years, everyone realized, wait, Fortnite already has all the people.
It's all
We can't
well.
take them.
I guess if there was one specific thing, it's gaming had a big boom during COVID, and COVID's over now, so number go down, and people didn't
nobody
account for
wants
that.
Hundreds of hours of grinding content for
Yeah.
fake currency or whatever.
It's almost like the physical universe we inhabit has finite boundaries.
There was also the whole thing where Sony bought Bungie, and then Bungie were like, you have to compete with us now, and we're you now.
And also a bunch of these we don't think are good. So yeah. Anyway, Stu, you technically do a Marvel podcast. Would you like to read the next one?
Sure. Although I want to clarify, I do a film podcast that, for the time being, focuses on Marvel movies because they're representative of the main.
I get that, but Marvel is in the name.
Okay. The next trailer for Wolverine will be mostly CGI, have less than 20 total seconds of gameplay, and not have a date at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, well, I was originally confident that Wolverine was going to be closer, but leaks have shown there's going to be an Insomniac. So, it's going to have, like, snappy little bits in, but yeah, no, Wolverine's still a little while away. Dawn, would you like to read this next one?
Not here.
Oh, then Eli, would you like to read this next one?
Sure. Ghost of Tsushima 2 will continue to eat Ubisoft lunch. Its reveal trailer that has a heavy emphasis on naval combat.
Yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima was very much a
They're gonna poke each other in their belly button.
So Ghost of Tsushima 1 was very
about
much an
losing
Assassin's Creed style thing in like feudal Japan during the Mongol invasion. The Mongol invasion is still happening at the end of that game, so it makes sense that the sequel is going to have you doing a bunch of boats and being more like Assassin's Creed 4 than any game they've made since 2014.
Wasn't that entire invasion fleet destroyed by a typhoon?
Yeah, but I imagine they're gonna like stall it out, and there were two invasions, and both of them were destroyed by typhoons. But yeah, no, I imagine it's gonna be like there was a period beforehand, and that's probably gonna be like the climax somehow.
What if it's a person named the Typhoon in Ghost of Tsushima 2, and that's how you do it?
All I'm thinking is Sucker Punch has literally only made one game in the past like full decade. I could easily see Ghost of Tsushima 2 still being a couple years away or more.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it's already been like again. I still think it's not. I don't think it's gonna be this year, but I think we will see it this year. Hold on one second.
How was Ghost of Tsushima? It looked kind of cool. But
The answer I think is like above average Assassin's Creed game. Like it's Ubisoft without a lot of the Ubisoft slop feel.
I've been feeling like wanting to play something set in like medieval or feudal or just pre-industrial Japan lately, like atmosphere wise. But I guess I can play Tenchu too.
Hell yeah. Okay. Okay. Lid, would you like to read this one?
Sure thing. Sony will have full ownership of Bungie by the end of 2024 after several waves of layoffs.
So what's going on at Bungie right now is when Sony bought them, they did not achieve full control. But written into the contract was when they have a quarter where they do not make a profit, Sony gets full control. Bungie has never made a profit in its life. So they are so the current management is scrambling to try and desperately hold on to control, as little control as they have for as long as they have. Which is also destroying the studio, obviously. I think
like it's literally like the thing. Like, then like a journalist or something like asked them like, "Have you considered pay cuts for executives?" And they're like, "We are not that kind of company."
Yeah, so obviously there is no way this can last very long in this year. But there's the Bungie will be a hollowed out shell of itself by the time Sony gets it, which is not what they wanted, obviously. Stu, got another comic book one for you, please.
The Venom game reveal trailer will not let you know who's under the symbiote, but it will probably be Eddie Brock.
So it's Harry Osborn is the Venom in Spider-Man 2. Spoilers. I'm pretty sure for the next one they're not gonna have it be Harry, but they're gonna play fast and loose. But it's probably gonna be Eddie. And then Eli, would you like to read this one?
Sure. God of War 1, 2, and 3 will get a modest remaster collection dropping this year.
So this actually was a rumor that popped up recently, and I don't know how credible that was, but this feels right in the sense of like Sony needs games now. They need free things they can put on a shelf and get people's attention. And you know what'll do that? Putting a box with 2 games that you can't play on the PS3 and one already existing remaster on it. Again, that like it's not. I'm not sure it'll be necessarily worth it, but it will at least be better than nothing.
You think they'll censor out the sex mini game?
Probably not, but it would be funny to think so. Also, God of War is like way bigger than it was during the PS2 and PS3 days now, so it makes sense to make those old games accessible to the new audience.
We're going to be sorely disappointed because it's very different tonally.
Yeah. Now on to Microsoft. What are we starting with? Lid, how about you read this one?
Flight Sim and Avowed will launch in 2024, but Hellblade 2 will be delayed to next year.
This is me giving Microsoft a little credit. Last year they announced 2 games, or 3 games that were supposedly for 2024. There's no way they can ship all 3 of them next year. I'm doubtful, but I think Flight Sim is Avowed's a risk because, you know, we've only seen one trailer and it could get pushed back, and but Flight Sim, they put 2024 in the name. There's no way that's getting canceled. Hellblade 2, I mean, they showed that game recently. They said it was coming out this year, and they did not give a definitive date.
Wouldn't it be funny if Hellblade 2 didn't even make it like to this console generation?
There's no way that can happen. I feel like that's close enough where it has to ship soon. But I still think, like, yeah, it could very easily slip to 2025. Stu, I guess you can read this.
Clockwork Revolution will show off its heavy emphasis on builds and player customization. The game will launch Q1 2025. I have no idea what Clockwork Revolution is.
So it's like a Fallout / BioShock like by the Wasteland devs. It's like a 3D in a steampunk-esque city.
Like first person or isometric? Or...
First person. Again, after that team mostly making isometric stuff, it's interesting to see them jump to a more 3D. I think they're gonna convince like we're more like a New Vegas than a modern Bethesda thing. Where we're like still on RPG guys. I think
I'd certainly hope so because I hate Bethesda design philosophy.
Yeah. Lid, I think I'd like you to read this one.
The Perfect Dark reboot will continue to be a no-show as Embracer's slow collapse will bring all development to a crawl.
So for context, Microsoft made a new studio to make a quadruple A Perfect Dark reboot called The Initiative. Then, like 2 to 3 years later, after the game had been revealed recently, they brought in Crystal Dynamics over to like finish the game for them. Crystal Dynamics is owned by Embracer, who lost a like multi-billion-dollar contract with the Saudis, and so is imminently collapsing now. So who fucking knows what's going on at that studio? I don't. Yeah.
Maybe someone else can take a crack at Tomb Raider.
Yeah, let's get.
Do something good with that.
Oh yeah,
franchise.
Amazon. They
Five
Embracer
years.
sold the rights to Amazon, so that's what you're getting.
Oh, god damn it!
Next up.
No one's given me what I want out of a Tomb Raider game since 1998. So.
Eli.
Overwatch 2 and World of Warcraft will both get 3-minute trailers at Microsoft Major Show.
At least 3-minute trailers. So
At
you
least
know
3
how like like Bethesda, every Bethesda show and now every Microsoft show since they bought Bethesda has like a big long trailer for Fallout 76 expansion and the new Elder Scrolls Online expansion. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch Overwatch 2 and World of Warcraft trailers alongside that from now on. Have fun.
Need slop for the hogs.
Stu, would you like to read this?
Microsoft will announce Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and the modern Call of Duties coming to Game Pass during their summer presentation.
They haven't added them yet. Doing this then would be a big win. And like, when are they going to do it? Well, this seems like a free ad. I guess actually, Stu, would you like to read this one again? Because I forgot about.
Blade will be shown off without a date, but we will see gameplay by the end of the year.
Arcane has been working on that Blade game for like presumably 2 years from now. It's still a long ways off, but I hope it's close enough that we can get like a vertical slice, especially since like it's not like Arcane games changed that much. Like I imagine you can reuse a bunch of animations and stuff from Dishonored and Deathloop in this.
Blade seems like a no-brainer for a good game, like Hunting
Yeah,
Fire,
no.
Kung Fu,
It's not-
level up skills and tech. But I feel like anything Marvel related is just.
Yeah, I
doomed
mean,
to
everything Marvel related video game wise in the past 10 years that wasn't made by Insomniac is kind of a flop, so we'll see. But I like this I like Arcane Leon a lot, so. And Lid, I'll have you read this one.
Let it be violent. It has to be Wesley Snipes' Blade, basically.
It's a different Blade. We already saw his design, but it's probably gonna be pretty
No,
close
just
to that.
tonally. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's not
imagine.
Like Blade 98.
All right, Lid.
id Software's next project will be a CGI trailer for a new Quake game showing a combination of Strogg and Lovecraftian elements.
I want to believe. I mean, we haven't seen anything from id Software since like 2021 when they finished the Doomed Eternal DLC. I think it's time for them to announce something, especially since they've never particularly gone a while without like Rage 2 to Eternal was like 5 years. Or Rage to Doom 2016 was like 5 years. Then 2016 to Rage 2 was like 3 years, and then it was 2 years after that for Eternal. So id Software is pretty good about shipping games. So I imagine even though they're owned by Microsoft, I imagine we'll see something soon.
Well, consider Quake Champions just came out in 2022.
Well, wasn't that game in beta for you? I feel like that game.
Yeah, that game was in early access for 5 years.
That's okay. I was gonna say.
Here's my prediction: they're gonna release like a character action game with selectable characters and like co-op multiplayer horde mode shit or something.
Mm.
But it's gonna be very multiplayer focused and very based on having like
See, I hope that's not the
roster
case, because like you already have the
guys.
multiplayer Quake. They just made that. It's time for single player.
yeah, but I think it'll be
Oh, well,
Go back.
uh-oh. Well, I guess I screwed up. I made this kind of last minute, so I screwed up a little bit. But here are all of the Capcom predictions. Eli, would you like to read that first one? We'll just go down the list.
Sure. Street Fighter 6's joke character will be Ken Masters from Street Fighter 2010 The Final Fight. They're not going to do a joke character. Like,
Come
they're
on,
really
Frank.
trying with this game.
Every fighting game should have a joke character. Like, not like a
Not
bad
not
character,
free
but like
DLC.
oh, you included them in this? I don't know. Come on, man. It's time to fight for Street Fighter to acknowledge its weirdest fucking spin-off.
The day that happens, if like Makoto is not in the game already, like there will be bomb threats at the Capcom office.
Probably.
I'm not kidding.
Stu, since you're probably not aware, so on the Nintendo Entertainment System, in between Street Fighter 1 and Street Fighter 2 coming out, Capcom made a weird Street Fighter spin-off where after the first Street Fighter, Ken Masters becomes a scientist and has to fight and hunt down a bunch of biomutants.
Oh, so Street Fighter 2010 wasn't a Street Fighter game that came out in 2010.
No,
It
no,
was
it
Street
was
Fighter
it was
2010,
in the distant
30
future of
years
nine.
in the
Yes,
future,
yes,
Okay. All right. That's
and a
that's
weird
hilarious.
alternate timeline.
I'm just gonna laugh really hard at you next year.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Lid. I think the most surreal moment of my life was when Angry Video Game Nerd made the joke in the Street Fighter 2010 video. Maybe I'll play Raid 2020 in the year 2020, and then he
did it.
Then he did it. What the fuck do we do now?
What a madman.
Lid, would you like to
You
read?
gonna play isn't Metro 2033?
God, I don't want to think about Angry Video Game Nerd in the year 2033.
we are
elderly-
scarily,
He's the most
we are
elderly
closer.
gamer you've ever heard.
We are closer to
He's the
2033
senile
than we
gamer.
are to when the Angry Video Game Nerds started.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. Lid,
He's gonna have grandchildren.
would you like to
in
read the
years.
next one?
Pragmata will be announced as the big show-off for the. Isn't it called the Rex engine?
Oh, you're right. It is the Rex engine. I got my Metal Gear
Yeah, that was
Associated word
weird.
mixed. I got my Metal Gear Associated words mixed up.
Like how Resident Evil 7 was for RE engine.
So basically, for the past couple gens,
what is RE short for?
It's like Reach for the Moon or something.
yeah, it's not
Something
Resident
stupid.
Evil.
Which they just lied. It's called the RE engine because it was for Resident Evil. Like,
Yes,
they made
absolutely.
That shit up after the fact.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Capcom basically makes their own internal engines for most of the game, and God bless the fucking RE engine. It was a workhorse of a fucking thing. But they're ready to move on because they're like, oh man, we can't do ray tracing on this thing at all. So I think Pragmata is probably going to be the big show off for that. Here's hoping that game's cool. Eli, I'll have you read this one.
Mitsugami Path of the Goddess will not be a game in the style of Onimusha, but will instead be more similar to Okami, aka a Zelda-like.
Yeah, like an old school Zelda, like not a Breath of the Wild, like. I don't know. We know almost nothing about this game, but we've seen some gameplay. It seems cool. I'm down for whatever it is, but I based on like I think the Wikipedia said like it made some comparisons, so I'm like, yeah, it seems like it's probably gonna be a Zelda like. That'd be cool. And then Stu, how about you read the final one?
Monster Hunter Wilds will follow up Monster Hunter Worlds by not launching on the Switch 2.
Put a pin in that for later. But I think Wilds is going to be next gen only. I think they really want to push that. And also, that means they get to make a new budget Monster Hunter like 3 years from now that they get to sell to a whole new audience.
So and I'm not really Monster Hunter fan, but World and Rise are two different teams, so that makes sense. That like the Rise team, the World team's working on Wilds, so the Rise team can be working on whatever follow-up it is to that version of Monster Hunter.
Sorry,
You did
I
know
just
about
saw
that.
your post asked you to speed up the lightning round. Sorry, Eli. Anyway,
Fine.
Lid, would you like to read this prediction?
Lizard Cube is developing the Shinobi reboot, and it'll launch 2024.
So, Lizard Cube are the developers of the Wonder Boy 3 remake and Streets of Rage 4. Look, from what the like 2 seconds of gameplay we've seen, their art style has a very similar like kind of pencil-y shading to it, and that's very much what the Shinobi reboot looks like to me. So, I don't know. I'm calling that. Hopefully I'm right.
They're not working on anything else that's announced, so that could be true.
Stu, you can read this one.
Golden Axe will be the second game of the 5 Sega reboots to launch, coming out Q1 2025.
I worded that a bit, but yeah, it's coming out Q1. I don't know when the other 3 are coming. I feel like Golden Axe is going to be next. Eli, you could read this one.
Yakuza 8 will have a chapter that involves the characters visiting Pearl Harbor.
It's in Hawaii. Why not do that? Why not just fucking show up at Pearl Harbor?
I mean, if it is set in Hawaii, I feel like you can't not, right?
Yeah, exactly. What's
And
the
then-
lid?
I feel like I don't know.
They've touched on that kind of stuff before in the series, so
Where's a good jumping on point for Yakuza?
Either 0
0.
or 7.
Oh, okay.
yeah, depending on like which style. If you want the classic action style, play 0. If you want to start with the new RPG style, go to 7.
You got to play all of them, or could I just go from 0 to 7 then? Or what?
I'd say see how you feel after you play 0, maybe.
Because 7 is a soft reboot with a new cast, all of the events of the previous game's cast, but you don't need to know them to play it.
Okay.
But you probably should play 1 through 6 in the release order. Lid, would you like to read this one?
Big commitment to play
A
6
collection
games.
containing Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 will launch Q4 2024 to build hype for Sonic 3 the movie.
Yes. So let me clarify. I try to have all of my predictions be at least a little different every single year. I don't want to make the same one twice. This is different because the first time when I made this prediction, I was like, we're going to get something akin to like a Spyro or a Crash remastered. You know, we're going to get like a full, like proper remake. These are going to be ports. They're just going to port them to modern platforms because you cannot play either Sonic Adventure game on PlayStation or Nintendo Switch. So,
Just imagining how much they're going to cost on the Switch.
what should I? Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, no. I mean, anything more than like 25 is too much.
You have to buy both of them and they'll cost 30. That's
And-
what I predict.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then Eli, read this one.
A second Sonic collection will be announced, featuring all 4 Game Boy Advance Sonic games and released early 2025.
I mean, they did say a few years ago they wanted to do more ports, and the GBA Sonics, the Advanced Trilogy and Battle, have never been ported, so yeah, feels right.
I could see them doing that, but leaving off Battle,
Yeah,
making the Sonic Advance trilogy.
they include Sonic Pinball Party.
No, it's Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3, and then Sonic Genesis.
That, it would be kind of fun. Like, if they can re-release Sonic Blast, they can re-release that. It's not like every version, every console that fucking collection will be releasing on already has a normal version of Sonic 1, so it's not even a big deal. It's time for the Squeenix. Eli.
Yeah. Dragon Quest III HD will be revealed and announced for spring 2025. Dragon Quest XII will get a new trailer, but no date.
How are you feeling about this prediction?
I think first I gotta just think Dragon Quest III will come out. Like, will be revealed and come out this year.
No, there's
I don't know,
no-
I'm just more optimistic. But Dragon Quest XII, yeah, I think that could be. and another trailer, but not too much more info on it.
The reason why I say 3 will come out 2025 is something about that just feel like, yeah, it doesn't matter what year it comes out in, something like that should come out in the spring. That just seems like the right time for something like that, for a Dragon Quest remake.
When did Dragon Quest III come out? Like, what day did it come out on?
Well, obviously,
that thing came out in February in Japan, 1988, huh?
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they could. I don't think that necessarily matters if it comes out in the spring. I could see them doing it this year. It's just been so long since it's announced.
Lid.
Foam Stars will last until at least the end of 2024, but it won't have an optimistic future.
So,
Foam Stars.
Splatoon-like, where you play as like pop star-esque looking character models. It's weird. It doesn't. I appreciate the attempt, but like I cannot see this game doing well. Like by any sort. Like sometimes you just have like a flop radar, and this is definitely, yeah.
I feel like any attempt to that closely clone a successful like multiplayer game usually fails.
This at least has the
Nobody wants to
advantage
switch
of it's coming out on consoles that don't have that multiplayer game. But yeah, I don't know. Stu, I'll have you read this one.
Okay. A new action RPG by Yoko Taro will be announced, and it will neither be called Nier or Drakengard.
I do think it is gonna end up being in that universe, but I don't think they're gonna call. I think it's time for a new name. I don't know. Yoko Taro's been working on stuff. He's been making like smaller card-based RPGs that seem decent, but you know, he hasn't made like a big 3D thing since the Nier remake. So now feels like the right time.
How was that Nier remake?
From what I heard, the best version of that game by far.
That makes sense. I think the original Nier was pretty flawed.
This one I could see myself getting owned on. But Lid, would you like to read this?
There will be another full year of silence on Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what else to put, but it does seem definitely possible that they could ghost for another year. What do you think, Lid?
I would not be too terribly surprised, just because mobile game stuff
Yeah.
would probably fill the gap.
Yeah. All right, now on to our general predictions. Stu.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will be the second major release to have major differences between the Series X and Series S versions.
The first game, in case you are unaware, is Baldur's Gate 3, which had to cut, I think, drop in and drop out online multiplayer, or maybe local split screen from the Series S version because they just couldn't get it to run on that. And Rockstar has fuck you money, so they can pay Microsoft fuck you money to not have to deal with bullshit on the Series S.
Man, that whole Series S concept, the branding, everything is just... God,
they really said, I think I was hanging out with Lid a few months ago, and I said it, and I got them mixed up, or it was like I called it like the 1X or something, and I hate them. I hate them so much. They're so bad at naming. Lid, would you like to read this one?
Dragon Age 6.
Oh shit! I totally got the number. It's 4. My bad.
I don't even know how many there are. Even
it does. Who cares?
The other one.
There's 3 ones out.
It will have its
There's
gameplay structured around
4 and 5.
the same camera.
Shut
angle
up,
as
Stu.
Modern God of War. Isn't that like a totally different kind of game?
It's technically an RPG if you squint, and I feel like they're gonna because again we're not in the Baldur's Gate 3. Most of that game's development has not been in the Baldur's Gate 3 paradigm of turn-based cells again. So, yeah.
I'm not joking. I didn't.
No,
say that at the beginning.
I said it earlier.
Why?
I got 4, and I meant to type 4
Oh, okay.
because I think I originally had Dreadwolf, but replaced it with that. I think I might have gotten. Oh, it's because GTA I got mixed up. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen any gameplay from it, so yeah.
Bring it back.
Technically, there have been 7 Dragon Age games already.
Are you counting DLCs?
No, I'm counting browser games.
That rules. Eli, why don't you read this one?
Skate 4 will get its first real gameplay trailer, and it will obfuscate the fact that it's a live service game as much as possible.
Yeah, that's kind of a black mark, but that Skate's kind of like it's going for like a Forza Horizon thing, kind of like endless like buying skins and stuff. So they're gonna want to try and cover that. They don't want people knowing that. Stu, I'll have you read this one.
Warhammer Space Marine 2 will pull a Star Wars Jedi Outcast and feature a level in a bombed-out city where you have to dodge Tau snipers.
So in Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2, there's an enemy where you go a level where you go to the planet Nar Shaddaa, which is a big city level, and there are Rodian snipers. Rodians are the species that Greedo is. Rodian snipers that will shoot you from like half a mile away with insta-kill sniper rifles, and that's kind of the whole thing behind the Tau. So I think that might be the case.
Ah, like Medal of Honor Allied Assault.
Yes. Lid, I'll have you do this one.
Skull and Bones will launch with the bare minimum not to get sued by the government of Singapore. This is a given. This is a freebie.
So well, I don't know. I could see
What if it doesn't launch?
What's Skull and Bones?
Skull and Bones is a
Pirate
multiplayer
games?
pirate game by Ubisoft that they've been making for 10 years. Specifically, the Singapore government did a thing where it's like, hey, game developers, come here, make new IP in our country, we'll give you money. And Ubisoft has been spending 10 years not making this game. But I think the shipping it finally will.
They've pulled an Uwe Boll without making a movie.
They also
Ubisoft.
fucking got in trouble like a year or two ago because it turned out, they're not letting any people from Singapore have management positions. They're shipping in white people to run all of these teams.
Incredible.
It's great. It's truly fascinating. Stu, you want to read this one?
On top of being more expensive than Assassin's Creed Mirage, Assassin's Creed Infinite will also sell worse at launch than Mirage.
So for context, Assassin's Creed Mirage was the most recent Assassin's Creed this year. It was kind of a back to basics return to formula. It only cost $50. It was a cheaper one. Assassin's Creed Infinite is like, what if we made a bunch of mini Assassin's Creed games that were the size of Destiny expansions and sold them all as a big super game to make infinite money? That shit ain't gonna work. I'm sorry, that has never worked.
You could have called Assassin's Creed Mirage most forgotten game of the year because I didn't even know it came out.
I think in the UK
Assassin's
it sold about it like as well, if not better, than Spider-Man 2. So that is objectively not true.
That's crazy. They're built different over there.
Lid.
There is
Oh,
a
you hate it for
0% chance that Star Wars Outlaws launches in 2024.
That's Ubisoft's big Star Wars game? No fucking way. They just showed a CG only trailer. They're lying out their ass.
They have said that they're aiming for late 2024, which means even a small delay will kick it out of this year.
Yeah, no fucking way. Lid, can I have you read this one again?
Ultra Kill's third and final episode will launch on July 11th and be announced in the PC Gamer Show.
I don't know. It is close. Like, it is very likely that Ultra Kill does get its third episode this year. I just wanted to pick like a little bit after the big E3 season so it can drop in. What were you gonna say, Lid?
I said you picked a specific date.
I don't know. It just feels right. I looked and went, yeah, that vibe right. it's around the same time period. Stu, I think you got to read this one.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I appreciate your Freudian typo here. Despite being developed by Bloober Team, the Silent Hill 2 remake will be narratively inoffensive.
So the reason why I say this is that there are people who are like Team Silent members who are like, hey, we have them on a leash. Things like they didn't say that obviously, but like things are gonna be fine. I'm gonna assume they're not gonna fuck it up too much. But who do I know? I'm gonna be bold and give like I know I'm giving this project way more rope than I should, but we'll see. Lid, I think you have to read this one.
Tommy Tallarico will reappear briefly via getting into a huge argument with someone at a video games live concert. I don't even think he goes to those anymore.
I think he's gonna try and crawl back into the industry. I think he really wants. I think he's gonna want to, and he's gonna get like immediately spotted and like harassed, and then he's gonna go back in. That's my
He does seem like that kind of narcissist guy who cannot like take the L.
exactly
And who does not know when to stop trying or when to take a break.
Because he's been quiet for like
Electric Playground a bunch as a kid.
Yeah, no, a lot of people did, and yeah, no. Shout out to Victor Lucas. He's out there being normal, probably having a fine job somewhere.
Just Office Vic.
Eli, you can read this one.
I sure can. Tekken 8's first DLC crossover character will be Robert Pattinson's Batman.
You can't say this one can't happen when they put in a fucking Walking Dead character in 7. Like, you can't
No,
say...
I don't think... Like, Tekken is big. I don't know if they're quite big enough to get Robert Pattinson's Batman.
I don't know, I think it'd be really cool, and I'd rather see him here than Fortnite.
There's already DC fighting games, though, and that may make like a
They haven't made an Injustice game in a while, and I don't think they're gonna make one soon. And again, this is just a crossover thing. Like, they put DC skins in Fortnite. I think this could definitely happen. Lid, I think I'll have you read this one.
Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi Zero will be the first piece of Dragon Ball media to adapt Dragon Ball arcs exclusive to the Dragon Ball Super manga.
So, for
It's
context...
so funny that you had this prediction, because I found out about Black Frieza today.
That's always fun, isn't it?
They
Yes.
call me...
His new transformation after Golden is black.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Goku's like, it's Black Frieza.
Oh man, yeah, no, they're gonna do that, like, cause it's like they're not making a super anime because Toei doesn't have enough money to do a Dragon Ball anime and One Piece at the same time. So they're not going to continue that, but I think they're going to use those characters in something, and why not this? Plus, we haven't had a Dragon Ball game that did like the campaign that's adaptations of the major sagas in a while, so that this makes sense.
You know, the thing about that is, like, people could honestly think that those are original characters made for that game, because people do not know or care about the Super manga.
People are like, who the fuck is Granola? Who the fuck is Moro?
No one cares.
Lid. Or, Stu. I think I'll have Stu read this one.
To avoid creating unnecessary drama, Remedy will announce the new voice actor for Max Payne this year. I also predict he'll be a relatively inexperienced new face in the industry.
So, for context for this, two things. One, a few years ago, Remedy announced that after Max Payne 2 and maybe one or two things, Alan Wake 2, sorry. They were going to do full remakes of Max Payne 1 and 2. And tragically, I think last month, the voice actor for Max Payne, I forget his name, unfortunately, passed away. So I think they're going to be in the most, like, not to do a big surprise for marketing, just put out a press release that's like, hey, this is the guy we found for our new Max Payne in English, at least.
It'd be funny if they just went like celebrity stunt casting, Hideo Kojima scan like Robert Pattinson into a machine.
God, yeah.
Bryan Cranston. I don't know. Who would you cast as a Max Payne?
Oh fuck.
Photorealistic Max Payne. Mark Wahlberg.
Sam Lake.
Who played him? Was it fucking Wahlberg that played him in the movie?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Terrible Max Payne.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I have a Max Payne prediction.
What is your Max Payne prediction?
I don't know if they will make. I don't know. I would assume, especially since like they have to get Rockstar involved from it, that it would be a relatively straightforward remake of the two games. But I would be kind of shocked if they didn't put in even just like a little like hint or
I think they're
something.
going to make their own 3. I think that's what.
Well, what I'm saying is I would be a little surprised if they didn't at least put in some kind of implication that bullet time is canon in the remake.
Oh, that'd be neat. That Max Payne actually has superpowers.
Yeah, that Max Payne is, in control terms, a para-utilitarian.
Okay.
I just assumed it would be like Control and Alan Wake are just on the TVs in the background of Max Payne.
That'd be cool. Lid.
Judas's two-side moral dilemma will be about how both the cyberpunk future police and the protesters can go too far.
So, for context for Stu, Judas is the new Ken Levine game that has been in development for 10 years and is probably, and 2K is like, you gotta ship something soon. He loves doing that two fucking side shit. He's been doing it. You played Thief 1. He wrote that game. You know all about that. He's gonna, and I feel like doing it about the fucking, making it about George Floyd feels like something he would do. Again, we know we have only seen a CG trailer. We do not know how much it could be, but I don't know. This feels possible.
Andy, whether that's true or not, I kind of think that was at some point in the game's development in there.
Absolutely,
But
everything was in fucking Judas's
He's
development.
like scrapped and restarted so many things that might not be in there anymore.
That's,
you know what I mean.
Not do project management.
No, absolutely, absolutely. He's still the guy every day, like George Broussard walking in, like, "Yo, did you see what this new game did? We got to put it in our game now." Sue, comic book time.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, despite taking place in Metropolis, will have a large segment where you return to the Arkham Knight map.
Hey, it's free. It's free map. It's free real estate. They could just do that. It's also bonus brownie points if remember that this is in the Arkham universe.
And an arc full of ham.
I could go for some. I'm hungry. I'm kind of hungry, so I'm gonna go grab some food as soon as the stream is done, which is relatively close. We only got a couple more slides.
Famished.
All right.
One more general, and then it's 3 Nintendo slides, so we're almost there. Eli, how about you read this one?
Multiverses will relaunch and be announced to re-shutting
down by the end of the year. It's gonna.
Yeah,
die.
your phrase that kind of weird.
I did, yeah.
So it'll come back and then leave again.
Because it like I feel like there is a number that they have to hit, and I don't think they're gonna hit that number. I think there is too many burn bridges with that shit. So, what do I know though? James McCartney, rip. Okay. Hi, Burn. All right. Lid, I will have you read this one.
Night Dive will announce a new multi-episode Blood expansion built around the features of the Kex engine.
So, for context, this year, Night Dive Studios was bought out right before the System Shock remake launched by fucking the modern shell of Atari. Nothing bad's happened yet. And I don't think
Isn't
it's...
the modern shell of Atari Infogrames?
Technically, yes. That might have also been the previous shell of Atari. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of shells.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Since and now they were originally wanted to do more expansions on the re-release of Blood. They did Fresh Supply, but they were not able to add extra features because Atari owned the rights. Now that they have that, I don't know. It feels right to be like, hey, we can just make a really cheap expansion to this old game pretty easily. What if you let us do some old levels? And I don't know. It feels possible. It's a stretch definitely, but because it's also, I think Blood is probably the only like major new IP or the major like boomer shooter IP that Atari currently owns. So if they're gonna do anything, like that seems like the easiest thing to do. Lid, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you to read the second one in a row.
Apparently, quote unquote Atari's been doing a ton of crypto shit for the last 4 years.
Yeah, they made the Atari coin. They also moved out and have been buying a bunch of stuff. I'm worried about that, but Lid.
Jonathan Blow is gonna announce a new game in the middle of the Braid re-release commentary
That
track.
feels like something he'd do. Be like, hey, here's my new project. And like,
I don't think so, because he's released like fucking 2 games.
I don't think he's gonna have anything close, but I think he's gonna be like, here's what I'm working on and describe it in
It's called just asking questions.
I own
I
Braid
mean,
from
we already know he's been working on a Sokoban game for like years.
Oh, okay, well.
I own Braid from one of the many times a friend just like gifted me an indie bundle for $1, and I've never played it.
Oh, and it sucks.
Play The Witness instead.
Isn't that also bad?
No, The Witness is pretty good for like puzzle reason.
I can't comment.
Eli, can you comment on this?
Hollow Knight Silk Song will reappear with a vague 2025 release date near the end of the year after switching engines. Maybe.
At the Game Awards, it I don't know. I'm not super optimistic, but come on, man. It's been fucking 7 years. It'll be 7 years at the end of this year. It is crazy how long Hollow Knight has taken. Granted, they also did the DLCs, so but it's still like, damn. Stu, I'll have you read this one.
I choose to believe Black Myth Wukong is real and will receive an 84 on Metacritic.
So, for context for this, Myth Wukong is a Chinese-developed action game based on Journey to the West. There's been a bunch of these like high-profile AAA Chinese-developed action games for a while. They've been brewing in the background, and I just look at them and I go, I don't know if you're real or not, if you're like all bullshots, or if like you're actually like a pretty incredibly sick-looking game. I'm going to choose to be optimistic. I'm going to choose to believe this is real. And then, I don't know. Stu, would you like to read this last one because it involves
Sure.
celebrity drama?
Vin Diesel will be quietly removed from Arc 2 after his recent allegations.
Like,
Oh, yeah, that-
like
that-
really
that just came
bad
out.
sexual assault and like stuff. Like, ugh. It's a shame because I liked Vin Diesel too, but it's like, not anymore. We're at the end, Eli. The final stretch. Hi, Andy.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I am Grope.
Hold on. What was that? I just heard a noise. Who did what? I think someone subscribed. Oh shit! $35.
Oh, holy shit.
Thank
Who
you.
did that? Oh, hi, Burn Venters.
Hi. Wow.
Who donated?
Burn Venters.
Nice.
No, Burn, I fucked up. I'm pretty sure the Sonic Superstar stream did pass the date because I set it for the end of the year. But if you really want me to, I can stream that game if you're willing to give me $35 fucking dollars. Anyway, thank you for that. That's really appreciated. Eli, would you like to read this first one?
Sure. There will be a mainline Pokemon game this year. However, it will be some kind of remake and not be a Switch 2 exclusive.
So this slide is all non-Switch 2 stuff. We're all talking about the original stuff. Lid, I'll have you read this one.
And I don't think that's. I think it's going to be a spin-off this year.
I could see it being something like Let's Go, but I hope I'm wrong. Lid.
Princess Peach Showtime will have Pauline, Daisy, Rosalina, and Toadette in the game as NPCs.
None of them will be playable, but I do think they'll have like the whole Gal Pal Mario gang in there.
Possibility.
Eli.
Wind Waker HD Switch will launch in August. No word on Twilight Princess. I
Here's
don't believe.
Here's the thing. Here's why. With the exception of 2022, and that's because they assumed Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom would release then, there has been a Zelda game in some form on the Switch every single year. They've run out of other things. Unless that they do like a 2D thing or something else, doing a Wind Waker port now makes sense. It's not guaranteed, but this is the most likely this has felt in a while. Of the Zelda slot is available. And finally, I'll have Stu read this one.
Metroid Prime 4 will be a dual launch title for Switch 2 and launch alongside the original Switch.
All right, now
I do not believe that game is coming to the original Switch.
I mean, here's the
What do we
thing.
know about the Switch 2? Have they said anything?
We'll go into that in a second. They have denied its existence, but we know dev kits are out there, so it's coming. Yeah. Here's the thing, Eli. I want to. In any other case, I would believe you, but they announced that game the launch year of the Switch. People bought that game, a Switch, to play Metroid Prime 4. I feel like you have to.
Why? Like they don't have to. They're Nintendo. Fuck you.
I know
Like,
they're
at the end,
Nintendo, but like that's gonna be a really bad PR.
They don't care.
And
not
also,
going
it's
to be
been
an
in
FDR.
development. And also, it started development in 2019, which means the original Switch version probably got pretty far.
Like people made a stink when like Tropical Freeze launched on the Switch for $60 when it had launched on the Wii U for $50. It was lowered to $20, and then they removed it temporarily from the Wii U eShop. But guess what? No one actually cared. Like in the end, so they that's not as big of a deal. I agree, but if it's something that really can only be done on the Switch too, they're not going to care. They're just.
I don't know if it's gonna. I think it's gonna be real pretty, but I think it is going to look like a better like. Essentially, it's gonna be probably something like Metroid Prime remastered fidelity, but with much bigger rooms. Eli, I'll have you read this one.
The Switch 2 will be announced in March after a dedicated Switch 1 Direct in February, with more information coming around June.
I still think the Nintendo Switch has one good Direct left in it, just because there's enough coming out in 2024 on the original that it's like they still want a few more dollars to squeeze out as much as they can in terms of pre-orders and stuff for the original Switch before like marketing for the Switch 2 completely changes everything. Could be wrong, but this is where I'm feeling. Lid.
The Nintendo Super Switch will launch on Friday, September 13th, and cost $399 United States doll hairs.
Well, let's break this down in 3 parts. First, I'm taking a swing. I think it is very likely that it is called the Super Switch. Now, I'm not going to say much more on that, but hey, it'd be cool. I think
it echoes the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and I think there was also like leak that was like, yeah, they're doing multicolored buttons again, like the Super Famicom and UK Super Nintendo controller, so that would also be a sign for that. Second,
You know the The new 3DS also did that.
Oh, that's pretty cool though.
the new Nintendo.
Well, the
Switch.
Nintendo. Well, that's because the 3DS had what would yeah, you could play Xenoblade, yeah, you could run, but realistically, the most meaningful change was you can buy 3DS Super Nintendo Virtual Console games on the 3DS now was the biggest change that came from the new 3DS. Okay. Second, why Friday the 13th September? Well,
That seems an inauspicious.
it
way
is.
to
It is.
launch
I'm
the
hedging my
product.
bets. The reason why is that Nintendo, according to leaks and rumors, they want to get it out relatively early, but it's probably going to be out near the end of the year. So I picked the last possible week before the end of summer. That's when the Switch 2 is going to launch. When they so they can have their cake and eat it too.
I kind of figured they'd want to launch for Christmas if they're launching this year.
Yeah,
It
but
seems
they
crazy to me
also
to take
want
a console you're denying the existence of and launch it within a year of its announcement.
I mean, the Switch was announced and revealed within 6 months, so this is not without precedent.
Oh, okay.
Granted, the Wii U was already dead by that point, and this is different, but I don't know.
I'm gonna say October.
October does feel likely. October is definitely a good possibility.
And you definitely want it before Christmas because you want people to like go crazy in November and buy it for the kid.
Yeah.
Ahead
Also,
of
finally, the price.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. If it's gonna be roughly as powerful as a PS4, yeah, $400, $50 more dollars than the original, or $100 more than the original. Like, I would like it to be less, but you know, what are you gonna
I
do?
imagine the main thing would just be having substantially more RAM. Huh?
It's probably gonna have a better CPU and GPU. Like it's
I know.
from what I've heard, it is like in between PS4 and PS4 Pro. Like specs wise, roughly.
Because I think the original Switch only have like a gig of RAM or something.
There's no way it has. Let me see how much. There's no like. It's like the Switch is roughly a 7th gen console, but there's no way
It has 4 gigs of RAM.
4
Okay.
gigs, okay. But like, and the PS4 and the Xbox One had 8, so.
Yeah, that was because Sony had to fucking the third party said to beg.
Xbox have something though where like an entire 2 gigs is reserved for the OS.
I think that is the case.
Yeah, it was a lot of. And
Windows is
PS4 I think
such a
was
great
decent.
operating system, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Eli, read this one.
Sure. The Nintendo Switch 2 will feature backwards compatibility with the original Switch at launch, with performance updates being patched in piecemeal.
I mean, I feel like there has to be a catch with backpat, and kind of Xbox wanting it a little bit feels plausible.
If it's the same architecture, just with more and better and faster, then
I assume that's the case, but I'm also counting in games because of the lesser hardware of the Switch. You have a lot of games that are like locked at 30 or like lower resolutions, and that you'd have to specifically tweak in the settings to change.
Yeah, but I mean that's just normal. I mean that's how PS1 games were on PS2. They were still just PS1 games.
Yeah, that's true, but like PS4 games and PS4 games run at PS5 specs, relatively speaking, on PS5s. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's I think that's something a little different, but I don't know. It might. They might.
And Stu, I'll have you read this final one.
NVIDIA Tegra and an ARM. Okay. Every single cloud game will still require an online connection to run on Switch 2, allowing devs to re-release games again.
Yeah, no. So there are a bunch of Switch games that are 8th gen console games. And it's like, well, we want to sell this on the Switch, but it can't fucking run. What do we do? Let's make a cloud edition where you need an online connection. And I feel like there's no way they're just going to be like, yeah, it's a normal port now that we have more powerful hardware. It's like, no. And that gives devs a chance to be like, hey, here's Resident Evil 7 real game edition or whatever, you know?
Is Prime excuse me, is Prime 4 the only game you predict will launch with the Switch 2?
For right now, yes. I do think it's going to be the big. There are going to be things within the next 12 months, but we'll talk about the other games. Now, the way I see it,
Okay.
looking at Nintendo, because I do think well, because if it's back compat, they're not going to need as many titles and stuff, but I do think there are 4 big titles in terms of sales and priorities that, like, whenever a new Nintendo system is announced from here on out, you're gonna have to answer some questions about, like, when is this coming? Like, when is this game coming? Lid, would you like to read this first one?
The next Mario Kart will be announced at the Summer Nintendo event and will feature multiple new cups with no tracks.
I
based on
think
Mario.
I'm torn between this being, like, holiday, like, Switch launches September, this launches November, and this launching, like, Q1 or 2, 2025. But I do think of the 4 games, Mario Kart will be very early. I do think that. Like, Mario Kart, because it's crazy to think that, like, oh yeah, right now, Mario Kart is the biggest Nintendo game in the world. Like, it's the biggest one they have, sales-wise. It is monumental every time I think about just how much Mario Kart 8, even Deluxe alone, has sold. Oh, hold on. Well, both of them at the same time. I do have one more after this, but Eli, you read the first one.
The next 3D Mario will be the holiday title for the Switch in 2024, and it will not be Super Mario Odyssey 2. It'll be a new kind of 3D Mario.
The reason why I switched gears is that, thinking about it in hindsight, it's like, if they were making Odyssey 2, just Odyssey 2, I don't know if it would have come out by now, but they would have said it by now. The fact that it has been a 7-year wait makes me think, no, they're not doing it. They're gonna make, like, it's not gonna be a sequel to any pre-existing Mario. It's just gonna be a new 3D Mario with a new title and a new gimmick. Stu, I'll have you read that one. The last one.
Alrighty. The next Animal Crossing game will be set in a small mountain town and launch spring 2025.
Animal Crossing, like, it's crazy to think, oh yeah, Animal Crossing sold 30 million copies on the Switch. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. So they're probably going to try and have one be roughly early 2025. Try and get it out as soon as possible, because Animal Crossing is a big fucking priority now.
I was not really a fan of New Horizons, so I hope
a lot of people were. The reason why I went Mountain Town, it's like, well, what's the opposite vacation of, like, a tropical beach island? Well, going to, like, a small mountain in rural village out in, like, you know, that seems like the opposite of that. So yeah, why not?
Which would honestly also be kind of a return to what they did before, and I think that's maybe better.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, Lid, would you like to read the final prediction of 2024?
Let's see it. At the Nintendo Switch reveal event, there will be a trailer for a Paper Mario game
But
that's a fake out, instead announcing Paper Mario for the next Smash game in holiday 2025.
people have been asking for Paper Mario. He's an easy character you can add without third party. And I feel like, because remember how, like, the Switch, or what Smash Ultimates was the fake out with Splatoon? Doing that with a first party character seems like a very good. I don't think, I feel like The
Paper
reason,
Mario and Smash seems like a pretty natural fit. It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
yeah, and he can, and like he has enough abilities and like side characters that you could even make him. You don't need to make him Dr. Mario, just an
You
Echo
could do
Fighter.
a lot of gimmicks with him being.
Yeah, yeah, you can have a completely different moveset.
I'm not questioning Paper Mario and Smash. I'm questioning, are they going to make a new Smash game without Sakurai and have it?
Yeah, of course they would. It's Smash. Like it's
No,
definitely going to be
understand what you're
weird.
saying.
And there's enough people at like Sora Unlimited and Bamco that can like, I think that's why they brought in that like there will be a new director. That is definitely.
They've asked him to come back multiple times. I don't know if they're gonna get him again.
I
or
don't think
not,
this
you know.
one's. I think this is going to be the first Smash game without Sakurai. And I think it's going to be weird, but I am also, and this is for later years, we're going to see a roster downsize. Like, there's no way we don't.
Yeah.
Well, they probably still don't have the licenses for some of those.
Yeah.
You know.
But also, like,
Solid
you
Snake or
you
whatever.
can't make a Smash game with 100 characters. Like, you got to go down to maybe like 40 to 50, which would still be at launch, which would be pretty good.
I could see them just like swap in Paper Mario, swap out Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
Swap out Toon